Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SpawnCast. This is episode 135, which actually means we're getting up there right now, right? We're coming up on. I mean, we still have a little ways to go for 3 years. We're getting there. Let me go around here because we have a couple of people here. We have two guests right now. Although I think MVG you might start seeing showing up more and more in the podcast now. But we'll treat you
I'm
as
like
a guest.
I'm like a regular almost, right?
You're like a regular almost.
Australia facts.
Yeah. Well, no, Sean. That's we need the English perspective on it, right, Sean?
Yeah, you need the England look at video gaming. So I'm cool with it.
Direct from the UK. I got all the facts, man.
Australia facts.
Then we have Scott, our guest tonight, Scott the Waz. Thanks for joining us, Scott.
Hi, yeah, it's great to see. They really changed up Google Hangouts from the last time I was on. This thing is crazy.
They destroyed Google Hangouts. So I mean,
was it that long ago?
Does it? Does it? I don't know if it still works. I thought they changed it to something else, but it only supports like 2 people or 3 people or something. I don't know if I'm wrong about that, but we're on Discord now. We're doing Discord. But good to have you here, Scott. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Just for anyone who doesn't know who that is Scott the Waz. Scott the Waz. You may know him from your recommendeds.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Hey man, it's you're rolling along.
I never asked for that. I get a bunch of Twitter mentions from people who's just showing screenshots of their recommended, and they're just like, get out. I'm so sick of you there.
I mean, you made a video on Homecoming, and it was actually enjoyable, which means you made me enjoy Homecoming. So
I mean,
you did something.
Who doesn't
There you go.
enjoy Homecoming? That's a magical time. There's really nothing else that really equates to high school homecoming dances.
Yes.
These are wild.
I didn't go to them, so
Neither did I.
See, I never went to prom, but I went to like 2 or 3 homecomings during my high
I went
school
to some
tenure.
dances, but I didn't go to like the prom or anything like that. I was watching Yu Yu Hakusho and I was doing other stuff. I had much, better things to do.
I was doing drugs and getting drunk. I remember
Like a responsible teenager.
No, I remember I was dating a girl that was a senior and I was a junior, and like she was all hyped up for the senior prom, and I was like, nah, I'm not going to that shit. I was like, look, I'll get us a hotel room. You go to the prom and have fun, and then we'll, bring all your friends back. We'll party at the hotel. And I ended up getting like absolutely destroyed with my friends at the hotel room, and like she had to drive me around all night to the party. She got so mad at me, dude.
And I can tell you're just so ready to talk about Luigi's Mansion right after talking about that.
Oh yeah.
RGT's promoting drug use on the Spawn.
No. Hey, it was back in my younger years.
No, I'm joking.
Kids do dumb shit. We know that.
That's what somebody's gonna say. Somebody who might hate you might say so.
Jesus Christ.
Jordan, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on? Glad to be here. I'm good. I'm feeling great.
Yeah, feeling good. Ready for Pokemon? 2 weeks?
Yeah, very ready for Pokemon. It's been a fun 24, 48 hours, I'd say, with the internet.
Well, I'm old, so why should I buy Pokemon? Explain to me why me as an old person should buy it.
Because it's like if you want to capture Pokemon like you did on your 3DS, but on a Switch with a better resolution than a 240p, then you're good. Yeah.
Okay, the last time I played Pokemon was on the Game Boy.
So still better resolution.
Well,
much better resolution.
Much better resolution. Okay,
at that point, you have no excuse. Just get it.
Okay. I've noticed some of the Pokemon
content.
are modeled after furniture now.
Yes. There's also teapots are haunted. There's Poltegeist. That is a Pokemon.
Apparently they'll give you themselves. It's in their note. It's really weird.
Yeah, it's a weird Pokemon.
If you befriend them enough and stuff like that, then yeah, they'll maybe.
Oh, they'll let you sip their tea.
Their tea, according to the Pokemon.
Which I don't know what that means, but
I don't know what that means.
I guess we'll find out in 2 short weeks.
Yeah, we'll find out soon.
Does that mean you're like eating Pokemon at that point?
I mean, there's curry in the game. You have to have meat in the curry. So who are we cooking up?
I mean, and how many Pokemon games have you seen other animals than Pokemon?
Miltank. You're eating
They're all
a Miltank.
Pokemon.
All right then.
Magikarp.
OJ, what's up, man?
What
How you doing?
Doing good. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me on once again.
Yeah, good to hear. What's everyone been playing? What's everyone been up to? What have we been playing?
This mansion game. You know, heard about this game that you're in a mansion?
Yeah, so who got Luigi's Mansion 3?
Yep.
I did.
Yeah, I did.
I got a review copy, but I bought one.
George, did you get Luigi's Mansion 3?
No.
Oh man.
You can't call it Luigi's Mansion. He's in a hotel.
It's a mansion.
It's a hotel.
Hotel
It's
mansion.
Luigi's Hotel 1.
It's a pretty serious hotel if it's a hotel, man. What about Scott, did you grab it?
Yeah, I got it. I'm about 3 hours in or so.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. What do you think of it so far? It's okay.
I like it. I actually this week I played through. I never beat Luigi's Mansion 1 because I'm just so busy and I don't have 30 minutes to dedicate to beating the first game because it's so short. But I did beat it, and I picked up Luigi's Mansion 1 and I played about 3 hours of it. And it's really interesting playing those two back to back just because they are similar, but they are very different in terms of like their vibes. It's really weird, but I do like it. I think the puzzles in this one are way better than in 1, but I kind of like the atmosphere of 1 a lot more. If that makes any sense.
Is the first one, like, I looked at the new one and I looked at the first one. The first one seems like darker in general, like the environment. I don't know if that was just me when I was looking at it, and I looked at this one and I said, this one just feels like all the lights are on at all times.
It's an amusement park more than a horror story.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
But I mean, the thing of it is like Luigi's Mansion, the original, was a much shorter game too, though. You know, so they
How
didn't.
long is that game?
I went
a few hours.
Check.
Yeah, like you can get through it in like 5
or 6 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, and don't forget it was a launch title for the GameCube. So
I just heard it was 30 minutes.
I remember people were really mad at that launch title.
yeah, because everyone wanted a Mario game, and we got Luigi's Mansion, which I thought the game was great when it came out for the GameCube.
Sam.
I beat Luigi's Mansion. I remember playing it back. I didn't play it right when it came out, but I played it a little bit afterwards, and I remember beating it in probably about like six hours or so.
Yeah, it says you can rush through it in like 4 hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I mean, if you explore a little
Short
bit,
game.
maybe you'll, take a bit. But it's not a very long game at all.
I played that game for the first time at a McDonald's.
Okay. That McDonald's demo units?
Yes, this was interesting. I someone out there probably has it because the GameCube itself. I wish cell phones were like around like that back then because the GameCube looked different. It didn't look like a normal GameCube, and I have it pictured in my mind, but it had like a McDonald's symbol on it. And so there are out there somewhere
like on the disc cover, like on the jewel on the top.
No, it was like on the plastic on the front. Like if you look at the front where the controller's coming out, because it had like its own setup, like it was encased. You couldn't touch the GameCube, but it had a McDonald's symbol on it. And I'm like, right now out there somewhere in dumpsters in a landfill, there's just a McDonald's GameCubes, and they were all purple too.
I'd be so down if there was a McDonald's logo on the jewel on the top of the GameCube, like the circle on the thing.
It's out there. It's out there somewhere. What did we play? It was Luigi's Mansion and something else. Man, maybe it might have been Smash at some point.
I remember Mario Kart being on it.
Okay. Oh, no. It was Mario Tennis because we'd go there and play Mario Tennis.
What year was this, John?
Oh gosh, when was that? That was a couple years after the Cube was out, I think.
I like how it says "Play fair, please share" on the McDonald's.
Oh, were you seeing it?
GameCube.
Do you see it?
Yeah, I just typed in McDonald's
Oh,
GameCube.
I'm telling you.
There's a Chick-fil-A. I haven't been there to this one. This is where I used to live like 6-7 years ago. That still had it there 6-7 years ago. That same GameCube in there to play games on. They never remodeled. I don't know if it's still there to this day, but now I kind of want to go check it out, see if it's there.
This fucking McDonald's had the GameCube. They had an air hockey table. This place looks
mine just had the
amazing.
Cube. Mine had a Cube and a big play place, but like we were too old to go on play place, So we sat there and played GameCube, like men.
Those controls must have been disgusting. That must have been horrible.
Yo, look at that. Wait.
Yeah, you couldn't. You looked down at it. You looked down at it.
That's a Gen 4. That's a Gen 4 Pokemon on the screen though. So that's like 2007.
Hold on.
Look at that air hockey table though. That thing is tight. Got Ronald on there.
I went to the hood McDonald's. I never got any of this, man. Y'all getting the premium stuff where you guys live.
You just got a big ass dono.
That McDonald's Cube reminds me of those Red Tents Nintendo cabinets they used to have. The double-sided ones where you would sit and play versus Mario and versus Castlevania.
Maybe that's all it was, and they just like slapped an M on the side.
It's very similar to one.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, that's what it looked like though, except just more beaten up and like spit on. because it was McDonald's, so I just got beaten up. But yeah, I'm liking Luigi's Mansion 3. I'm looking at it. I think this might be one of the best looking games on the Switch right now.
It is, I think it's one of the best Switch games of 2019, and you could make a case that it is the best first party title for the Switch.
Wait a minute.
What else?
You can make a case for it.
Yoshi's Crafted World.
Seriously,
I agree. I agree with RGT. I've been playing a ton of it, and I agree. I didn't think I would agree, but I actually agree.
People were sleeping on this game, and I said it. I've been saying it forever because I thought it was going to be. When you take the core concept of Luigi's Mansion, which was a really good concept, just sort of a demo, and then you take the good parts of Dark Moon, which were expanding upon it a bit more, refining the graphics, adding some more gameplay mechanics in, but getting rid of that segmented area stuff like you had in that game, but adding in the online multiplayer of that game, like it was a recipe for success. And like some of those environments, I mean, yeah, there's a couple. There's one boss battle in particular that just absolutely pissed me off, and I was so mad, and I was like, this is the most bullshit.
Which one?
B2, baby, B2.
I hated that one.
I think I'm almost there at B2.
Yeah,
because I'm on like
it's the one I was talking.
Floor.
Yeah, it was the one I was talking to you about. It's not fun.
Okay.
And yeah, some people in the chat are saying, Fire Emblem, and like, yeah, you can make a case for Fire Emblem. You can make a case for Astral Chain as well. But you could definitely make a case for Luigi's Mansion 3, depending on what sort of games you like. Obviously, someone who doesn't like RPGs isn't going to say Fire Emblem. Someone who doesn't like, over the top Japanese style action adventure games isn't going to like Astral Chain. Making a case. But anyways, yeah, I thought the game was phenomenal. I beat it in like 10 and a half, 11 hours, but there's so much additional stuff that I haven't found. Like not even just the gems, like there's the hidden booze and then hidden ghosts in general that I haven't accessed yet. So it's like, okay, cool. I want to go back and find this stuff. So fantastic game. Just absolutely fantastic. Loved it.
I didn't realize this. I was looking at the chat, but Mushworks actually donated probably way more than they should have.
Yeah, I tried to tell you that.
Oh, thanks. Okay, thank you. Yes, thanks, Mushworks. I appreciate it. We'll go through the super chats here in a bit before we start talking about the main topics. After we talk a bit more about what we were talking about or what we've been playing, but I appreciate it, Mushworks. But Luigi's Mansion 3, I think is like probably the best looking game I've played a while on the Switch, mostly because it doesn't look blurry even on like the TV, and it seems to have more anti-aliasing than a lot of games. Like it doesn't look like there's not like the jagged edges that we're used to around a lot of Switch games. That does not appear to be like as obvious on Luigi's Mansion 3, so it just looks just cleaner, I guess is the best word for it.
Yeah, and I can't be sure, but it looks like there's no dynamic res. It's just locked in at a certain, res, and it doesn't change at all, because I've not noticed anything like that at all. It's a beautiful looking game.
I was going to say, because then you would overclock the Switch and do all kinds of stuff, but you might not need to then.
And whatever they're doing, whatever trick they're pulling with the lighting, the way the light works, especially the moving lights with the flashlight, because even in multiplayer mode, there's times where they'll knock power out on the whole floor that you're on, so you're just going around with your flashlight, and it's the shadows it casts, everything. It looks so great for something so simple.
It did some really good stuff on the GameCube back in like 2001. So
even the 3DS is probably one of the top 3 best looking games on that system. Like the 3DS game looks amazing. It's just on the 3DS,
Yeah, Next Level Games did some good stuff here. And there is a certain part in the game that I was hoping it was a tease, but it looked like they were playing around with just their old franchises. So they had like the strikers. They had the thing that looked like for Punch Out. You can even get the big boxing glove and run around with it.
I love the Virtual Boy as well. That's such a cool touch. They put that in the game.
So good.
What was that like? And the menu's all red and black and everything.
Yeah, because you're staring into a Virtual Boy.
I'm scared for Punch Out though. I don't think that game's ever going to come back. Considering how Punch Out is,
it can't come back.
Yeah,
I mean, it can come back, but it wouldn't be as interesting as it used to be.
No, you just fight like regular boxers, dude.
Yeah. I like the overall. Just the overall game is really, really fun. I think at this point I'm maybe at the halfway mark from what I'm reading from what you guys are saying.
Can I ask you guys a question? Did you guys try out the different type of control scheme that's not the default? I kind of like that one more, and I'm not a gyro person. But kind of switching it to horizontal, then using the gyro for up and down, that makes it to me much better for me to play. But
that's interesting. So I think I know what you're talking about with the control scheme, because there is one thing about the control scheme that throws me off a little bit, but for the most part, using the gyro for up and down, then using L and R for either shoot the plunger or shoot your light works well, because then you can look left and right and then up and down just by moving the controller. But the black light is stuck on X still. unless I'm missing something, right?
Yeah, it's still just X.
So
Still
like I
X, yeah.
have to do kind of this just to move it. It's weird at that point, but I guess you don't use the black light as much in combat, really. I mean, you use it sometimes, but it's more like purposeful. Whereas the light, sometimes you got to spin around and shoot the light, or like or use the vacuum. That's the one thing. Otherwise, though, the gyro paired with the shoulder buttons and everything, it actually works, I think, pretty well. So yeah, I recommend the gyro if you as long as you're not using a third-party controller, it doesn't have gyro.
Yeah.
But yeah, I recommend that. I have not played this game in handheld mode yet. I know Sean plays it like nothing but handheld mode.
No, I actually played this mostly docked. I only probably played like 2 hours in handheld mode, but it definitely still looks great. And there's no, the Vaseline smear shit like that. There's no issue with that in this game. So
Okay, cool.
I was very happy with that.
Yeah, I gotta try it on handheld mode just to see. I don't know, Scott, did you play it docked or handheld or?
I'm doing docked because I kind of record pretty much everything that I do. So I've been only doing docked. Yeah. Yeah, I will say, no, go on.
No, I was just saying that everyone's saying you can hit R and L at the same time for black light.
Oh, there we go. See? There we go.
Yeah, because I was going to say I have the exact same problem where it feels like I'm just doing a claw on the controller to like mess with the analog stick while I'm doing the black light. That's a bit of an issue, but now I guess I don't know that. I mean, I guess I know how to go around that. But I will say, like, one thing I really like about this game is the character animation. The character animation is super good. The music, however, I think the music is pretty underwhelming. Like the original music in Luigi's Mansion, like that had weird vibe to it. It was really memorable for that. Music in this game is just kind of like, it's just kind of there. That's kind of like one of my main disappointments with the game. But other than that, I'm liking it so far. I'm only like 3 hours in now. So
yeah, I guess the game, I don't know, I guess 10 or 11 hours isn't too bad for just a straight playthrough.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it was. Like I didn't really look for all that much, but there's still a ton of hidden content like in the game. So I was surprised. I was, especially considering just how short Luigi's Mansion the original was. I didn't expect it to be that short, but your buddy's in here, John.
My buddy. Oh, John Shirtless charity win. Aware plus. What did he say? Did he say that Sean RG85 has the best gaming news on YouTube?
I mean, I won't.
You can't argue with that. What can you say? What can you say?
I say a lot of things, but
it's also a 6 gig download, which is super small for the amount of gameplay in the game.
Did you get it physically or digitally?
I bought it digitally, actually. Yeah.
Okay. I got it. Yeah, I got it physically. It has like reverse cover art, but no manual or anything. So they still have these manual cutouts too. It's really annoying to look at that. But yeah, it's I don't know. I got it. I just grabbed it physically. But good to hear it's only 6 gigabytes though. It's nice. It's nice.
Yeah, you get it at Walmart again for the 50?
Me, I grabbed it at GameStop.
Why not Walmart? Cheaper.
I know the people at GameStop here, and it's actually like one of those good GameStops. So I give them a pre-order, then I just go pick it up.
Okay.
Yeah, they're good to me though. They'll hold stuff like they're gonna hold that Elite V2 controller that's very difficult to get right now. Apparently, a lot of places. So that's coming in Monday, actually. Yes, that would be the 4th.
I'm still holding on to my Gamers Club Unlocked membership just so hard. I have that until like December. So I think I'm just gonna go crazy.
Yeah, I did
in like a month
before mine ran out too, Scott. Like I did as well.
Well, if you go, keep it in mind, Scott. If you go to Walmart, is just doing that out right now.
I don't like going to Walmart to buy my games because I have to tell them like, can I get this game? And they have to unlock the cabinet.
I hate that.
Yeah, buying games at Walmart is not. I've been going there for a while now. But you can do the online, then in-store pickup, but their in-store pickup is trash too. Like sometimes they don't have like Witcher 3. They didn't have the game. They told me they had the game. I went there like, oops, we made a mistake. We sent you an email. I'm like, bruh.
Man, I've never done in-store pickup at Walmart. The closest thing I think of when I think of that at Walmart is like when you're doing a return there, and that is just god awful. Like I don't want to deal with that, so I don't want to in-store pickup at all at Walmart. I don't want to deal with Walmart in general. My Walmart, the parking is crazy. Like people just go wild in that parking lot, so I don't even want to deal with that. So I'm just gonna stick to Best Buy.
Walmart triggered you. I mean, we're gonna see the Walmart episode pretty soon here, man.
Yeah,
I hate it.
Can we get that Walmart episode? Just
I
go
hate
inside
it.
Walmart and
I'm
review Walmart.
I'm a much bigger supporter of Target. Like, there's like where I live, there's a Target, and right behind it is a Walmart, and you can just immediately see when you go from Target to Walmart, like the trees just get all just like dead, and it's just like everybody just goes crazy in that parking lot.
That Walmart episode
hate
is
it.
Scott. It's going to be him in the parking lot for 15 minutes.
I hate it. I hate the Walmart parking lot.
I'm gonna clickbait your name and use this footage. Do it
Sure,
myself.
fine. Whatever. If it gets more people to stop going to the Walmart in Northwest Ohio, I'm fine with it. I hate that place.
Is it a super Walmart?
No, I don't know. Do they still have super Walmarts?
Aren't they
I
all the
remember-
same now?
I think
I don't know,
they've
mine's
just
all
like together
remember
branded it to
those.
prevent confusion.
And then they got big Kmarts. I want to find where the nearest Kmart is because I want to go
They got a
there
business?
because there's like
No,
that's
you don't.
I think there's still some out there, so I really want to go. back.
There's one
Okay,
near me.
so
there's one real close to me.
There is
that's
one
empty.
Kmart. Yeah, there's one Kmart that it like in the whole vicinity of like anywhere close, like 100 miles. It's just right down the street from me, right? Out of curiosity, I went there last weekend just to be like, haven't been there in a while. It's said to go out of business for the last 5 years. Still here. Go inside. It's disgusting and nothing is.
It's like the
where-
set of a
Yeah,
zombie
I like
flick.
that.
It's pretty
That's
brutal.
Fun.
But everything is more expensive than Kmart.
But I mean,
Everything's priced higher. I don't
Kmart
understand
used
how they're in business when they have higher prices and no one's in there.
Kmart used to have Little Caesars inside of them, and you could go to Kmart and then you could shop and get a Little Caesars Bigfoot pizza because the Bigfoot was amazing and it was like big and stuff like that.
Implied in the name, right?
Right. So
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I think that gave Kmart a bit of an advantage of when you go to Walmart, they got like what Subways in there, eat fresh. No, I want
McDonald's.
I want to eat crappy pizza at a discounted price. So Kmart gets my vote.
Dude, every time I
That's
walk
their
into
slogan,
Kmart,
actually.
dude, the Kmart near me just always, it was just, the floor was just always, it was just dirty. Like I'd walk in and
Dude, it was
the
disgusting.
floor was like, I couldn't tell if it was dirt or mold or what. It was just
It
on the
always
floor.
smelled
I'm like,
weird inside there. It smelled like balloons and like must. That's what my
No,
my
there was-
Kmart
My
smelled
two
the one-
least favorite smells.
Yeah.
There was
balloons and like kid must. I don't know. That's what my Kmart always smelled like.
There was
Oh,
one
man.
checkout lady working there, and she was pretty old. And I talked to her. She has been working at this Kmart for like 30 years.
They keep it around just for her because they don't want to.
And she's the only checkout line. And the girl, this one lady who was like in line, I overheard it. She's like, "Okay, do you have a card with us, like the points card or whatever?" She's like, "Yeah, I'll give you my email." And like the process of her giving her letters to put for the email is her going M. Did you say L? No, M. Okay, M E E, and it was like 5 minutes to put an email, and it was great. The best
So you're
notification I
trying
had
to
all
tell
day.
me you are now an official Kmart member?
Oh no, this wasn't me. I overheard someone giving their points. Listen,
Okay, so you know somebody who became
I
an
now
official
know
Kmart
somebody.
member.
If I had an extra 30 minutes, I would have signed up.
I did, Sean, I did play more of Dave Reckoning 2 and I'm almost done the game. Okay. And I
Yep.
will say it is much better than the first one. And the first one was already very good. So now this is like really, really good. So if you want a good wrestling game and not WWE 2K20, get Day of Reckoning 2. I liked it a lot on the GameCube.
When's that patch coming out for 2K20?
I thought it already came out. It was basically
Oh, it
just
did?
2K21 got announced, right? Now I think the patch is hilarious. Everyone go read the patch notes. It's literally just the entire game all over again. It's just everything. Oh, it's so funny.
For 2K20?
Yes, yeah, they
Did
put
they
the
fix-
patch notes out.
Is it fixed?
Dude, it is everything. It's like weird seizures in the middle of the ring. Check, fixed. It's like all this stuff. Everything got fixed. And
Nice.
I don't know if it's actually fixed, but they basically just it's like a whole nother game, I guess.
I'm
Sounds like a
sure it's
video.
Not
So funny. It's so
Because-
funny.
even like the good WWE 2K games, because of that engine that they use, especially in hardcore matches. Just type in WWE 2K19 glitches and you'll get a million different glitches anyways. It's just that wasn't even the worst part of that game. The worst part of that game was that it sucked. It
I
wasn't
thought the writing
fun.
was bad, right? The writing was
The
bad.
right,
and everything.
everything is bad. The graphics are bad.
I sent you a picture of this, right? Like the writing they were doing. I was like, this is better than 2K. Like they had like this whole mystery storyline where they're trying to figure out who stole the belt. And I was like, this is way better than what Sean showed me for 2K20.
Yeah, it's like, everything about that game is just
That
Gosh.
story mode is quite possibly the worst story mode that I have ever watched in my life. Like one of the in WWE 2K20, man. It is horrible.
What else? I played some more Outer Worlds. Sean, did you install that yet on Game Pass?
no. I've been playing other stuff.
I
Naked
downloaded it.
Naked Fireman guy, which that was a mistake. Jesus
That looked
Christ.
What game? What?
I can't remember what it's
NFG, Naked Fireman guy.
Ada Kumuni or something like that.
I saw you
Okay.
posted it on Twitter. I was like, what the hell is that?
You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to play. You're gonna have to play some. You're gonna have to plug your PS4 in though next week though, Sean. So.
Oh yeah, you got to get the Death
Yeah,
Stranding.
Stranding. That's gonna be
yeah.
fun. 10 out of 10. And then I did also. I also played more Call of Duty MVG. So
Nice.
I did more of the
Nice.
campaign. It looks super realistic at times.
Finish the campaign because the ending is really good. That's what.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
I will do that. I'm gonna try to get it done before Death Stranding.
Yeah.
Puts me to sleep. And I will. I did like that. I played more multiplayer. I'm starting to like the multiplayer less because the maps aren't very good.
I only played one multiplayer match and it felt like Call of Duty. I'm like, yep, I'm good. I kind of moved on.
If you play Ground War, it feels like Battlefield. Like I'm like, this feels like Battlefield. You got the tanks coming around. You got like the ATVs. I finally got in a match that was 64 people. Like it was 64. It is ridiculous. So it's all over the place. But I'm gonna do the campaign and then I got to move on to other stuff. So
The
and
good news is you'll get through it pretty quick.
I think I'm almost. I
Campaign.
think I'm getting there. I think I'm getting close. So I'm like 5 hours in. I think the people told me the game was like 6 or 7 hours or something.
Yeah,
So.
you probably got about an hour to go, I think.
Oh, okay, cool. But that I will say that raid on the house when they put the night vision on, dude, that looks real.
insane.
I thought I was looking at real
So,
footage. I was like,
Did you
what
do
is-
the other? Did you do the other night mission where it's like the whole level you're in
Yes.
that mode? Okay,
Yes.
that was a lot of fun. That whole like how they structured it, how you went around the map.
I'm just blown away by how the game looks at times. Like
No,
sometimes
when
I
you're
see
in
it,
night
okay,
vision,
and then then they kick that out. I'm like, this looks like footage they released, a couple years ago for another raid. I'm like, this is insane. Otherwise, pretty good week, I'd say, with that in Luigi's Mansion. So, what about OJ? What have you been up to?
Yeah, I played a lot of Luigi's Mansion, of course, but I've been getting back into Xenoblade 2. I've been having some streams with that game, and that game pisses me off with all the different blade stuff. So, I mean, I don't want to go back to the scars.
Oh, because you like Torna, right?
Yeah, Torna's great. Torna's my favorite Xenoblade game. It's my favorite one. Torna's really good, but it does the blade system, but without all the crap of the core crystals, So right now I'm trying to grind and kind of get through all of that, and we've been just getting fighting the super bosses. I got to level 99 maxed out, getting the best combinations, doing all the driver combo stuff, just farming core crystals. So I've been doing that. That's been fun. But getting 5 million common blades in a row is not fun, even with legendary core crystals. With my luck maxed out to 99, not fun, but whatever. And also playing a lot of Luigi's Mansion, like RGT was saying, really was surprised at how good this game is. Luigi's Mansion has never been at the top of my, games list for anything really. Even GameCube, I played them. I thought they were cool, beat them, they were fun, but I never really had it up there. But this one, for some reason, just seems to be it's just so much better than what we've seen before. I really like what they've done with the graphics. The gameplay is fun. Everything just clicks with me with this one, man. So I'm enjoying it a lot, and it definitely kind of creeped up in my game of the year contention with Fire Emblem and with Astral Chain and some of the games that came out before that people are talking about, Sekiro and stuff like that, man. So I'm really, really enjoying Luigi's Mansion. And like Scott was saying, the animations are amazing. I don't know if some of you guys are with Dr. Egad, if you use the light on him, what he does, some of the stuff that he does. If you
I haven't done that yet.
on
I'll try it though. I'll try.
Yeah, try it. He does what was it, Marilyn Monroe? He does that pose.
Oh,
the skirt,
interesting. Okay.
he does stuff like that. He does the weirdest stuff when
Next Level must have put a lot of time in the game itself, just little details. So I'll give him.
I like how they animated his lip movements to his original gibberish from the GameCube game. That's just really uncomfortable. I love it.
Yeah.
Man, now I'm interested in what Next Level's doing next, because they did a great job on Luigi's Mansion 3.
Luigi's Mansion 4.
Mario Strikers, man, come on.
Oh, that'd be good.
Dude,
There
that's
is a
gotta be-
Strikers tease in
The
in
poster?
Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah. They had Punch Out. They have Punch Out too. You saw that, right, Sean?
Yeah. There's lots of little references to other stuff.
What about Jordan? What about you, Jordan?
So I played some more Call of Duty. Like I said, finished the campaign. Played like one round of multiplayer. Just haven't really been too interested to get in. Like I haven't felt like Call of Duty multiplayer since like Modern Warfare 2 days. Like that's when I was super into
Modern
it.
Warfare 2 is really good though. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just not getting that same like feeling I had back then, wanting to play the multiplayer. I played about 20 minutes of Medieval so far. It kind of still plays like a PS1 game at some points, but it's nice. It's nice to see it. I felt like I played some. Super Monkey Ball, the one game on the Switch everyone had to get this week, right?
Oh yeah, I played that too.
I did not get that.
I got it, and it's still fine. I don't know, people crap on it. It's a fine game.
Yeah.
I'm literally just like before I fall asleep, I'm just like playing it for like 10 minutes, get through a quick course, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's mainly it. I haven't really played too much outside of that. I played a little bit of Borderlands 3 because the Halloween event's still going on.
I will tell you, Jordan,
yeah.
it's worth picking up Luigi's Mansion 3.
I'm just not into it.
Really? Okay.
I've never been into Luigi's Mansion. I don't know what it like. I watched Austin John Plays do his charity stream today, and I watched him play it. Looks gorgeous. The graphics are great. The gameplay looks fun and all that. But to me, I'm just like right now, like I just don't want to play that type of game. I don't know. I'm just not into it.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I thought before like it launched. I was just like, as Luigi's Mansion 3 was coming out, I was just kind of like, I'm gonna play it. But like whenever they would do like social media posts about it, I was just like, I don't care. Like I'm gonna buy it. It doesn't matter. Like I'm just gonna buy it. Like I wasn't that excited for it leading up to it. I'm just not like a huge Luigi's Mansion guy.
Same. Yeah.
And then MVG. You said you played Luigi's Mansion. Was there anything else outside of that?
That's really about it this week.
Okay.
Luigi's Mansion, and yeah, that's it. I finished Call of Duty last week, so yeah, just been playing that this week.
Nice, very good. And then Evan, Luigi's Mansion.
Main focus, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, you were like, I'm getting Luigi's Mansion, and then like the next day you were like, all right, 8 hours of Luigi's Mansion done. I'm going to sleep. And I was like, what? Did you not go to sleep? So yeah, it must have been good because Evan powered through that thing. So
It was all right. It was all right.
I did happen to find the purple controller too, so I secured the purple controller. That is done. Limited edition one. I think they also had like an orange or a red camo. I know they have the Goku controller out now, but they unveiled a couple of limited edition controllers for the PlayStation, so I grabbed the purple one. And they have green Joy-Con controllers. Looks like that came out at Best Buy as well. I did not pick those up. I think those are all limited edition stuff that released there. Xbox Elite V2. You on that? Are you on that, MVG?
No, not really.
All right.
Just
up to me. It's up to
Only
me.
you. Only
It's up to me.
It's just another controller.
It's just me. Okay,
I have
that's
tons
fine.
of them at home.
I will do that. it has USB-C though, man. Built-in
Yeah.
battery.
Give
All
me-
this for only $180.
Bring me the Scarlet, and then we'll see if we.
It
if I
works
get
with the
one.
Scarlet.
Yeah. I've actually heard that. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
$180. I have the regular. I have the version 1 Elite controller.
Microsoft needs to start sending this stuff over. Okay. You gotta start sending this over.
How many more times do we got to say Game Pass?
I know, right? Man. Okay, that's fine. Oh, Scott, do you still have Game Pass?
Yeah,
You should download.
I forgot I had it, but I still have it.
Well, now you remember.
Yeah, I've
get the
probably
other
paid at least $80 for it by now. So it's
That's
been a while
exactly
since I started my subscription. Yeah.
That's exactly what they want, Scott.
That's how they get
Forget-
me.
That's how they get you. Forget about it. Automatic renewal. Just keep on taking it out of your.
If I download the Outer Worlds, then I'll make my money back technically. But
I was gonna tell you should download it because it's actually a really good game.
Maybe.
It's not that because it's like a Fallout style game. I don't know if you played any of the older, not the older ones, but like that.
Not really.
Okay. It's not as long. I thought it'd be a long game. It's seriously, it's like 20 hours to beat it. I was a little surprised.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I'm like interested in trying. It's just not at the top of my priorities right now.
It reminds me of when they released Fallout 3, and then because the Fallout 3 by itself, the standalone game wasn't that big, but then they released all those expansion DLC packs, like 4 of them or something.
Yeah.
And it really kind of increased the size of the game. And hopefully they'll do the same thing with this Outer Worlds, because it's an awesome game.
And they hit us with the Game of the Year version of it. So I'm sure Outer Worlds will probably do something similar. But yeah, let me go. Evan, we have a Discord question while I pull up some of the super chats before we get into the topics with Death Stranding.
There's one that I'm going to have to augment a little, I guess. What method do you think should be employed on games that are released by companies that kind of do that whole microtransactions a month later thing? Like, should we start to wait? Should there be like some other, I guess, brainstorm it? What do we think? I guess
that's
tough.
It's an asterisk. It says games opinions and thoughts on subject to change pending on microtransactions and stuff like that. Well, you reserve the right. You can always go back and re-review and bring it back up. You know,
it's kind of like when you review a game that ends up getting a patch either the day of the launch, but you got an early copy of the game. It's like, sorry, I'm reviewing whatever game that you're giving to me. If they fix it down the road, okay, great. That's awesome. But, whenever I make a video, it's that video, that's that game at the time of me making it. So, hopefully you bring in your A game, or else, it'll be seen.
Well, to me, it just kind of feels like the reason why companies do that is literally just to it's literally not for any other reason other than to get good review scores and then just throw that in there afterwards. I just feel like it's a pretty scummy practice, and I don't really know how you can label that on the box other than reprinting it later on. So it's just I just wish they wouldn't do that. And if they were gonna go with microtransactions, just do it at the front and don't be don't try to hide it until later on.
Yeah, I agree. It's super scummy. I think they did that Call of Duty, right? They've done that.
Yep,
before.
they got me, Sean, and Max on that.
Yeah, so I think it's super scummy. They're purposefully doing it. I mean, I don't know, but there's no real way to stop it, right? It's just the only way that you'd have to stop it is to be stop supporting the product afterwards. But Call of Duty still sells a bunch all the way up until whatever. So there's really nothing anybody can do. They're just gonna do it outside of your your company being dragged through the mud a little bit, right? People making videos on all you can do is just put bad press on them if it happens. But there's nothing really anybody can do to stop it, But I think that with all the monetary, all the DLC talk and everything, right? I think that this Call of Duty, they did I guess it doesn't. Maybe it's going to be in there, but I think they hear us, right? I think they hear us a little bit, right? With this monetization stuff, maybe.
I want to say they do, but at the same time, I'm really not sure.
Yeah,
it's so tough. It's so tough with this. I'm going to tell you that now. Yeah. It really is.
It is, but I mean, maybe they're encouraged by this is the biggest Call of Duty launch. It's the same. It's a kind of a remake thingy. It's a reimagining of whatever, but it's this is the biggest launch of Call of Duty ever, right?
It's really big. Yeah, this generation is the biggest one, they said.
This is the biggest one, and it didn't have the microtransactions, and it didn't have, you don't need to do that. You know what I'm saying? And if you do that, I think it also enhances the value of their game, because people say, okay, if you buy it down the road, it doesn't have that in there. So maybe they're realizing that, because
they are
have the microtransactions, and it's getting the sales,
They're doing what they're calling the battle pass, so basically what Fortnite does.
Okay, they're doing the cosmetic stuff, right?
Maybe we think.
Okay, there's probably gonna be guns. There's probably gonna be guns in there and stuff. Never mind.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It really is tough right now with them. So who knows?
But that's not really the standard microtransactions,
right?
No, it's like a DLC or something.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, you give me $5, you have this pretend money, now go buy loot boxes with it kind of thing.
Yeah. You buy this battle pass and then you get this stuff in there and that's that, right?
Yes.
Or is there okay? Well,
yeah,
I don't. That's not as bad.
We'll see how all that goes down. It really just look at it 3 months from now and see if things change, because Black Ops 4 got really bad after a little while.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Rikudo Prez says, oh wait, nope, that was from, I must have missed that one. That was from last week. Xbox is a dead console like Gears 5 W. Okay. That's
why my Game Pass has never been touched, because I die a little bit inside every time I turn on my Xbox One. I do not want to use that console. It is so annoying. Why? I hate the UI. I
hate it too, but I came to love the features about the console.
You like the ads and stuff on the features.
I love that I can actually have a console that plays 4K Blu-rays, because PlayStation don't. Thanks,
Well, I remember our last conversation on the podcast where we were just screaming about Netflix and Blu-rays. I don't care about Blu-rays, man. Like, I am hard against those things.
But you go out and you'll buy like 1,000 DVDs of Premium Rush for a homecoming video.
5.
You won't buy. Oh, sorry.
But they apparently, this is coming out soon because they're previewing it now. They are redoing that UI, so we'll see if it looks any better.
About time. It hasn't been good since early.
My problem with it is so slow. It takes forever, and there's just stuff everywhere. It's like looking at like a magazine collage. It's just all
bro. Every time I turn it on, it's like watch Ninja on Mixer.
Yeah,
I'm like, no. Watch Shroud on Mixer. No, I just want to play Borderlands 3. Watch this. I'm like, no, just.
it's
a ransom letter for UI.
You want to watch? Huh? Come on, click the button. I dare you.
The pictures that they're coming out right now of all of the like refinements, it does look better. I will say that it looks a little better. So I don't know. I think they're pushing that out. I think it's soon. So that was supposed to be holiday to like everyone, but we'll see. Riku Perez then says, Spawn, can you please go on Next Gen 720 podcast and debate why Xbox is better than PlayStation since you always cap him for the box of the vid, Nate? Nate is not here. I was on that podcast a long time ago, too. Like when I was first starting out on YouTube. We talked about Pokemon, Jordan.
Pokemon.
And the Switch.
Pokemon. I love the Switch.
So apparently somewhere out there, I'm on record saying that the Switch will do really well because it's going to get Pokemon.
Wow, you were right.
Bold statement. Nostradamus over here.
Here's the thing.
Christ.
Here's the thing.
Spawn 2020.
The Pokemon had not been announced for the Switch yet. This was like I think 6 months before the Switch came out. So there you go.
Was there any doubt it wasn't coming to the Switch?
Nostradamus.
Here's the other thing. I think possibly I had to go look. I on a podcast somewhere. I remember I said that there would be at least one more 3DS revision before it ends, and that was before the 2DS XL came out. So there you go.
There's probably like a 40-page reset era thread about your prediction there.
Oh gosh,
who do you know?
No, here's filled with shirtless John images. It'll be great.
I don't know. They spent a while yelling about my SNK leak from forever ago, and then they're like, "We'll never doubt you again." And then they doubted me. Although I did say we were all about Metroid Prime Trilogy. So
hey, who said it's not still happening?
Oh, here we go. All right.
Sorry, I just wanted a thread on me. I'm sorry.
It's going to be the other trilogy. We're going to get Pinball, Federation Force, and
no, it's going to be a Federation Force collection.
I'd be down.
Pinball. If it was Hunters, Pinball, and
Other M.
Yes, other
and then
M.
the Hunters, Hunters demo that came out with the DS at launch.
It's going to be all the games that people somewhat like. Or
I still have my original carts, my rarest item in my collection.
Let me go back through some of these super chats before we talk about Death Stranding. Riku Perez then says, "Raise your hand if you failed No Nut November." I'm looking at this.
It's silly. It's silly. Sean was just
no shade.
I mean, that's what it is.
MVG. Everyone has their hand. MVG's just like,
I mean, just keeping it real, fellas.
Just dropping those Australia facts on you, man.
Just keeping it real.
Australia facts.
Evan Reeves says, "Do you think Death Stranding is trying to be more of an artistic expression than a traditional video game?"
I mean, we could talk about. We'll talk.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, Evan. I'll bring that question up when we get to that. Evan, thanks. Philip Patterson just says, "Hey y'all." I guess that's for Scott.
Hi.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. We went over this at Too Many Games. They just put in, Scott, "Hey y'all." Why?
Yeah.
Apostrophe ALL.
That's not right.
That is incorrect.
That's not right.
This was a hotly contested question at Too Many Games.
It's always been hey all.
Hey all. Okay.
There's no extra Y. I don't know. A lot of people think Ohio's in the South, apparently. I don't know. It's always been hey space all. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know why people are getting the extra Y and apostrophe.
Mushworks with the very large donation. Thanks, Mushworks. Appreciate it. It says, "Who here's happy that Blizzard acknowledged Nintendo in the same sentence as all the other major platforms where the Overwatch expansion, Overwatch 2, will release? Hoping my favorite heroes will get good updates in it." Yeah, because they put out there was a picture of it, and it looked like it was coming to all platforms, including the Switch. That's for the Overwatch 2. That sounds kind of like
say at launch.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Something to keep an eye on. But I mean, honestly, it's kind of sounds like an expansion, so it's very odd.
There's no release date. It was officially put on the official page for the game. If you downloaded the fact sheet, that's where it was, and then they ended up confirming it at BlizzCon, saying it's coming to the Switch. So
did they confirm for the next gen consoles?
No,
I don't think they did. Yeah, that's weird.
I honestly
probably
feel-
coming, but
They'll probably release it as a 2-pack or something special because it's supposed to involve the first one, but then just expand on it. You don't from what I understand, you don't need it, and you can continue to play people anyway. But if you have it, it's like the extra bits.
It's such a. They tried to explain it.
They should just World of Warcrafted it and then just had an expansion then.
Yeah, they tried to explain what it was, and it did not go. It was not that clear.
It's kind of like that because it's just a whole other zone or mission types. Like that's the main
it's
thing.
new areas, some new designs. You can bring everything from the previous game over, so it's just a refresh update to the game.
but they're also doing like co-op story missions and stuff like that.
Yeah, but that's only
that's
for that.
nice.
Like,
Yeah.
but if you want to play the PvP stuff, you can apparently stick with just the original if you don't want it. Like, it's weird. I gotta look back into it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It wasn't as clear when they were describing it.
It's almost like it probably wasn't ready to be announced, but they're getting so much shit trying to get some good PR.
I agree. I agree with most of those announcements. None of them were ready to announce, and then they just had to bring them forward.
Diablo 4. We'll talk a little bit about
We were
that.
supposed to get that a year ago, so
Yeah, but we got Diablo Immortal, so it's okay.
we got phone.
Then Shadow says, Scott and MVG, this is crazy. Also, good job demonetizing the stream in the first 5 minutes.
RGT's drug story.
Sorry.
Half
of the course. Just another week on the SpawnCast.
Yeah, very good. Ziljan65 says, my local McDonald's still has a Nintendo 64 stand. That's kind of neat. I wonder if it's still used.
Buy that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can you buy
It's
it?
like in the store. Is that like a city that time forgot? Like it's all just frozen.
Dude.
Sounds like a
They
good book.
still have the Arch Deluxe there.
There was that. I mean, there was that Kmart when they were cleaning it out. I remember one of the employees, and they post a picture of them finding a Mario Kart 64 that fell behind like one of the.
Oh yeah, it was
storage
like
cabinets.
under the cabinet or something.
Yeah,
I thought
it
it
was,
was in
like,
an
sealed.
aisle. I thought it was like in the aisles when they were stripping
That's
the whole place out.
crazy. You never know. You never know.
I see people like talk about their Walmart pickups on clearance. It's always like cool stuff like that. And like whenever I go to my Walmart, it's literally like, oh, they still have a copy of High School Musical Sing It for the PlayStation 2 sealed.
I think that might be a state thing.
That's a good deal though.
Yeah, $15.
That's a whole 2 minutes of entertainment right there. You sing We're All in This Together and you put it away.
I saw some of those.
Microphone.
I saw some of the Labos were like $6. Like,
Ooh, I got the vehicle kit at Target for $20 on clearance.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Clearance cardboard.
That's the one that works with Mario, right? Mario Kart, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. I have not put any Labo kit together since the first one.
Like Sean.
Oh, speaking of building, I did build that Marvel arcade cabinet, Sean.
Finally.
Is the arcade one up?
It is.
Didn't you
It's
have to
the
resolder
Marvel.
the audio in it though?
I did. The audio wasn't working right, so I dabbed a little bit of solder on the inside part when I was looking at it, and it fixed it. It was fine. I think it was just a little loose, or it didn't go through the old solder oven enough, or something in assembly. But it works fine now. So I'm doing a video on it and everything. But the Marvel one is pretty good. I was trying to figure out how to test its durability, like
Throw it off the roof.
like the
A
sticks,
drop
the buttons
test?
and everything.
Yeah.
No, I actually carried it upstairs
Will it
and
blend?
let my 2-year-old just beat the living crap out of it.
Oh, that's smart.
I mean, he almost tipped the thing over at one point because he was just like destroying that. Oh, it's gonna make people so mad watching him destroy this thing. It survived though. It's fine. It's fine. Arcade game is fine.
What's hilarious is when like there's a defect, he doesn't Spawnwave doesn't just put it back in the box and send it back. He'll just like bump out the soldering iron and start fixing it.
It had a big stop sign. It's like, stop, go send this back. And I'm like,
Well, I had to mess with my Mortal Kombat one because I had finally tracked it down and I was so happy. And then it was the only one that was at my Walmart, and the player 2 wasn't working. And I was like, the controls for player 2 wasn't working. And I was like, well, it's make it or break it time, boys. So I just took out my screwdriver and like opened it up. Luckily, it was just the clip for player 2's plugin had came out. So I was just like, put it back in and it worked fine.
Wow. You're so good at that.
I mean, not
the
wrong.
Marvel cabinet is good though. I will say that. It is a good
Yeah, I want to get a lot more of those arcade one-up machines. I just have absolutely no room for them. It's kind of the main problem.
The Turtles one's amazing.
I want the Turtles one now.
I
I've
want
played
the
the Marvel.
Galaga one.
I want the Turtles one.
So good.
I like they're doing those cocktail cabinets too. They got like a Street Fighter and Pac-Man one, and those come with like way more games than usual. So I kind of want to get those. I kind of want to stockpile a bunch underneath my until I have more room for to build them. But I don't know.
You need more room to build them than you do for the actual to actually build it. You need to like clear out an entire living room almost, and then when it's all together, it's tiny. Like I said, my 2-year-old can just reach up and just like play like normal. So it is very small. I need a riser for it.
That's the main thing that stopped me. I don't like putting anything together. You know,
it's easy though. If I can do it, anyone can do it.
Dude, Sean, yeah, okay, yeah.
I really don't like putting anything together. Like,
I watched Sean drop a screwdriver in one and have to dig it out.
And then I started bleeding all over the place and screaming. Yeah, that was a great fucking time.
It's an entertaining phone call.
Was that when you were building the arcade one-up, or when you were doing like a Labo kit?
No, that was when I was putting in.
You're using a screwdriver for that.
I put in a light-up marquee on the Mortal Kombat 2 one, and supposedly it takes like 10 minutes. It took me an hour and a half.
So 10
Was
minutes
that
for a regular
official, or
person.
was that like a fan? Was that like a fan mod or something?
It was a mod that I had bought.
Okay, because I know they're starting to do like light up marquees on a few of them. So,
Yes. The Star Wars one, all of the Star Wars ones have them, and then the limited edition Marvel ones have them.
And Golden Tee.
Oh yeah, Golden.
The other one that I kind of want, I don't know why, but I kind of want the Golden Tee one.
I got to give you credit, Sean. I really thought I was going to see when you first ordered that arcade one-up. I kind of thought to myself, I was like, in like a week, I'm going to see the video title, arcade one-up before you buy.
No, man, I love those damn things.
That's my favorite video. Was you with the Labo and you're like just had the visor on.
That's all I could do, man. It's too hard.
It was great. Oh man, oh so good, so good. Let me go through. We still have to get to Death Stranding. Let me go through a few more of these.
It was so good. My brother commented on it, and he doesn't comment on anything we do. He's silent, and he said, "You know what? It's for kids too, Francis." That's what he texted me.
We do
watched your video.
We have a question here for MVG actually, for Trip, saying, "Do you know if PAL GameCube games support progressive scan? If I get the HDMI adapter, will I see any improvement in PAL titles?"
No, so you can't use progressive scan on PAL, but if you mod your GameCube, then you can basically kind of region swap it to NTSC and do it that way. But so the answer is no, you can't. But mod your GameCube and you can do it, no problem.
There we go. All right, very cool.
Sure. Yep.
Then we have Mr. Perfect Cell, no message. Thanks, Mr. Perfect Cell. Mega Nerd says, love Kmart because when they were getting rid of electronics here in Massachusetts in 2014, I got a new PS4 50% off, saved my slip saying $200 after $200 savings.
Nice.
Very cool.
Not bad.
Radberry Gaming says, I just bought a Ring Fit after watching RGT85's video on it, and I'm so tired, but thanks for the recommendation.
Nope, it all goes down to Beetlejuice. He did the work, not me.
This one's from Twist saying, RGT85, are the chicks impressed with your arcade when you bounce them back from the club? This is all with these, by the way, not
I know. Yeah, I saw it.
Okay.
You'd be surprised. I'm just that little arcade room blows people's minds, man.
What's the game that they kind of gravitate towards when you bring them over?
It's really
Centipede.
I would say it's usually Street Fighter, but I haven't really tried it out since the Turtles came in, and I feel like the how the Turtles one sticks out because it's bigger. The front of the board is bigger. I think that'll definitely be like that's main target.
Which one's the biggest turn off?
I would probably say the Final Fight cabinet.
And just
like how many chicks are like, oh, I really want to play Strider in the arcade. I'm gonna play the arcade version of Strider. Man.
It's a legit game though.
No, yeah, it is. It's awesome.
David Valdez is supporting the SpawnCast. Shout out to OJ, playing Xeno Crisis on Switch, game they funded on Kickstarter. Question I heard: Star Ocean is coming to Switch. Will it be physical? I had it on PSP and looking to play it again. I thought it was just digital right now, right? I don't think it's been announced for
Have
physical.
they made an announcement? I don't think they've made an announcement whether it's going to be what they're doing. That we still don't even got like a release.
Yeah, that's still. I thought it was just winter or something still, right?
Yeah,
I think I'm right.
It's kind of up in the air what they're going to be doing with that game.
Yeah.
The original game had a physical. The PSP version did. So I mean, I would like for them to make a physical.
Worst
version.
case scenario, it might be one of those situations where you just gotta import it if it doesn't come out here physically. But hopefully they do.
Yeah, Japan's definitely getting a physical version of that game. I mean, that's the first Star Ocean game in the whole series. So a lot of people haven't played it before. But it's interesting. Remake of a remake, right? Remake of a remake of a remake. There you go.
Yeah. Zaire Miller says finished AI. You're gonna help me with this one, OJ. Somnium Files.
Somnium Files.
Somnium Files.
Yeah.
Cool. Probably my game of the year. Good writing, funny humor, great story. Again, would highly recommend it.
Good game.
Zima says Scott does not need Game Pass, but he has a Wii full of WiiWare games.
Yes, I use my Wii U more than any other console. And like I said, I die every time I turn on my Xbox One. I die every day a little bit with that fact that I use the Wii U way more than anything else. Ugh.
Man, I hope the Scarlet has a much better looking like UI. This is Jordan's Uncle Ted.
Oh no, there's a couple comments from Ted already.
Ted's
There's some comments. Yeah, I guess Ted's been a while. He's finally back in town,
Jordan.
got out of jail.
Okay, Jordan, hottest female game character of all time.
Oh man, you can't even pick. There's so many. I have no answer.
It's from your uncle, dude. I mean,
I don't want to answer my uncle when he asks me these kind of questions when he's drunk, fresh out of jail. Especially not with his second comment.
Just ask Sean. Sean, what's the hottest female game character of all time?
I mean, you gotta put Eva up there from Metal Gear Solid 3.
You don't gotta, but you can.
No, you gotta, man.
I don't know if it's a gotta.
I figured you'd put someone
could.
more iconic, like a Lara Croft or something.
I mean, she's up there. You remember that game, Toe Ball #1?
Yes.
That fighting game.
Good game.
There was this blonde chick in there that, like, as a young kid, I absolutely loved her because she had like those. They weren't even like circles; they were just like big square boobs, and they were just like so huge and over the top. And I was like, yeah, that's a one.
She must have left an impression on you, Sean, because
she did.
I would not have remembered that game.
Dude, that Toe Ball was dope because it had like a RPG like story mode to it, where like you would like go through dungeons and shit.
Matthew Hammond says, what 3DS franchises should come over to Switch?
Kid Icarus.
Kid Icarus is probably the big one, yeah. Or you think they'll just bring the Mario and Luigi over?
Yeah,
eventually.
But Kid Icarus needs to happen.
Kid Icarus would be cool to see that come over. That'd be neat.
The only thing wrong with the game is the controls.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they can if they do a sequel, they could revisit that.
Someone said Miss Pac-Man's the hottest.
I mean, that's a good comment.
Matt Patrick says Outer Worlds is amazing, best Fallout since New Vegas. I mean, Obsidian did that too.
Not wrong.
Battlefront Kid says, what makes a good game? I know good is subjective, but we've seen an overwhelming amount of gamers identify good games and bad games for combo for Death Stranding. Got it. We'll hold that for Death Stranding, which is coming up. Jeff, no message. Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate it. Adam says, just use yins, embrace the Pittsburgh life. Okay. Rikudu Perez says, so will you go on the cast and debate? I'll look into it, Rikudu. There you go. Adam says, so Overwatch on Switch owners got screwed, huh? Oh, that's for the first one because it released so close to the second one. Well, it sounds like if you have the first one already, you'll just be able to play over.
We don't know when the second one releases.
Yeah.
And I still gotta look into it, but it sounds like, if you have the first one, you're good.
Yeah. I don't see how you're getting screwed when you have the option to play the game or not. Two, the stuff carries over. And three, you can still play the game and enjoy it and get your money's worth while you're waiting for whenever this game is going to come out. So I don't see how anybody's screwed, to be honest.
MF says petition to make Scott a regular guest on SpawnCast. Scott is a very busy person. Okay,
Sure.
He has a social life. All right. We'll have Scott on a bit more going forward. Don't worry. We'll bug him here and there. That's Jordan's Uncle Ted again.
Yep.
That's a good comment, though.
Is it? Oh, okay. I see Jordan's Uncle Ted says, me and Jordan are hosting a panty wrestling party for men after the SpawnCast with free candy. Everyone is invited. Is that at your house,
Well,
Jordan?
Listen, it's canceled. I ate all the candy.
Okay. That's not contest. This is what you guys gonna do online battles in Sword and Shield. Maybe.
Yeah. Why not?
Maybe. Sure. Maybe. We're gonna move on to Death Stranding now. I'm gonna get I'll come back to any more of the super chats a bit later on, and I'll go through anything through Streamlabs as well a little later on. Death Stranding. I heard this game is a 10 out of 10. I know this because I checked the top 5 reviews on Metacritic.
You weren't talking to IGN then.
No.
Maybe IGN Japan.
Hey, I will give IGN this. They shot straight with that review. I'll give them that.
They surprised me. I was thinking IGN was coming out with that strong 9.5.
So Death Stranding embargoes went up on the 1st, so yesterday. IGN gave it a 6.8. However, other places gave it higher. Some gave them lower, but for the most part, it was a very weird game to read about. Not necessarily the score, which, by the way, this game review scores mean nothing for this game. Like at all. Like it is so obvious to a degree if you read them. And like PlayStation Lifestyle is the one that a lot of people point out. The first like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 words is Death Stranding is not a fun game in quotation marks. Fun.
Well, damn, I'm sold.
It's literally all these reviews are like the price is right. The points don't matter and nothing means anything. Like everything's made up. That's how it feels.
So what I'm going to do is I wish Nate was here because he knows a bit more about what Giant Bomb said, but Giant Bomb said the game was bad. And I'm watching it because they attempted to show it off too. They had 20 minutes to show footage and they were trying so hard to explain it. And the mission they decided to show was them delivering a pizza. And the pizza could not be vertical. It had to be horizontal. So they had to try to Jenga build the backpack so that it would sit horizontal. Okay. And then they start walking. And if you lean too far one side, everything will fall over. So you have to use R and L to balance it out. And you will just walk for like 20, 30 minutes at a time, apparently.
Just trip on a rock.
Does that sound like fun to you?
It doesn't. It really does. Like I'm reading this and I'm like, this game really does not sound fun.
Luigi's Mansion, you're picking up dirt with a vacuum, man. Come on. Like, why isn't delivering a pizza not fun?
Well, let me ask you. Check this out, Scott. So this was interesting. I was reading about this too. There are times where you're walking, right? Big open world, you're walking. You were talking about the music kind of in Luigi's Mansion 3 as being underwhelming. Apparently there are times where there's just no music. Like you were just walking for a while.
I mean,
silence.
that's like real life. I mean, games have gotten so realistic. It is ridiculous the power of these new
Is
consoles.
this game past the Uncanny Valley with that? Like it sounds like it is.
I'm like reading these reviews and I'm like, they are not describing a good game. That's the thing that's blowing my mind. I'm like, you get to the end of if you covered up the review score, you read the review in your mind, you're like, this thing is like a 6 or a 7 is what they're about to say. And then you take your hand off it as a 95. I'm like, whoa.
So how many of
It's not fun. It's tedious, but I loved it. 10 out of 10.
How many of us are going to pick it up next
Oh
week?
no, I'm buying it.
Oh yeah.
And see, that's the thing, right? It doesn't really matter what the reviews say because we're all going to buy the game next week anyway. So you know what I'm saying? It's like there's something about this game that we all want to play and experience for ourselves, and I think that's really what it comes down to. It's like it doesn't really matter if it's a 6 or a 10 or a whatever it is. It just seems like this is a game that everyone has to try for themselves, and I think we're all on board with it.
Yeah, but I mean, like that's us. Like that's kind of this group. But you got a guy who's just like $60. I could eat better this month.
Yeah, like let me tell you this, MVG. If I was going into that Death Stranding and I was someone who could maybe buy one game a month, right? I'm like, oh, okay, I could buy one. I'm gonna buy Star Wars or I'm gonna buy Pokemon instead. Is my thinking. Like I'm like,
that's what a smart person.
I'll wait for it to be like $20 or something, or maybe I'm someone who's like, you know what? I'll wait for PC release when that comes out. You know, something
I'll
like
probably
that.
wait for PC.
I think the biggest problem with the Death Stranding review scores is a review score is unfortunately usually the most important thing, more so than the actual review itself. One thing, because I've been writing reviews since 2011, one thing I always do when I was writing reviews for various websites was I always wanted what I was writing to be more important than what the actual score was. I wanted people to be able to pretty much guess the score based on what I was saying. And I would actually have, like, whenever people would proof my reviews, I would never leave them a score. I would say, read the review and then tell me what you think I'm going to give this game. And if they would score it, within like a point or so, then I would, go ahead with it. If they couldn't, if it was like a couple points off, I would revise things with it. That's kind of what I do with my videos. I feel like people should be able to make up their own score based on what you're saying, more so than what the actual numerical value is. If you're saying that a game is not a fun game, it is a tedious game, the gameplay is not good, but it's a 9.5 out of 10, a game can have a great story, and that could be the driving catalyst of the game. But if the story is the only good part of the game, that's not a 9.5 out of 10, unless, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not. It has to be accumulation of everything together. Look at Call of Cthulhu that I reviewed a week or two ago. I thought the story in that game was fantastic. It was awesome, but the gameplay was just not that good. It was kind of all over the place. It didn't have a clear identity. So I feel like a lot of this is just people, they're happy that Kojima is now free from the shackles of Konami, and they want him to feel good and shit like that. And I feel like people are scared to maybe give the game a bad score, because when you look at it, you have especially online, you have a large contingency of people who are like, how is a game that's not fun a 9.5 out of 10? But then those same people and other people are saying, well, how did IGN give it a 6.8? Screw IGN, they suck, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, at the end of the day, it's really just one person's opinions. You need to read the words of the review and decide whether that game is for you or not.
It has a lower review score than Sonic Forces.
What about Imagine Babies?
But that's apples and oranges, games get different.
Whoa.
Is a joke.
What's the story in Imagine Babies though? Like,
there's babies, and you have to imagine that they're real babies, and you take care of them.
Yeah, so it's like a party game, and you get to pick all these different babies. They all have full heads of hair, which is just like
nice.
Horrifying. So as that in front of Death Stranding, because that baby in that game is completely bald. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay,
well,
all right.
I will say with Death Stranding, like I agree though. Like if it's a game that has a story and has gameplay elements, you kind of have to look at it that way, right? A lot of these, like like Overwatch doesn't have a story, so it's like, well, you can't rate it, based on that. So like with this game though, if you say that the game isn't fun, yet you still give it a 9.5, I have a big problem with that. Like a game has to be fun somewhat to get that high of a score. If the gameplay is tedious and you don't like it and all, then it needs to be rated that way. There needs to be a fun factor into any game. Like there needs to be something, even if you like the gameplay in Death Stranding, it should be real. It should be said in the review. And that's the biggest problem. Not that people are giving it high scores. It's like you can't say this game's not fun. Oh, by the way, it's a 10 out of 10. Like that just doesn't. It's got to be somewhat fun. You got to like the gameplay. You got to like. You can't say, oh, well, the story's just amazing. And that's what I was been saying. Is like, okay, you got some people that are just going to be like Kojima points, right? It's just because it's Kojima. If this game wasn't Kojima label on it, I'm not so sure that it would be getting that type of praise.
There is a bit of concern that you're right. There is a bit of concern that because it's Kojima, people were looking at this game and maybe they were trying to see things that weren't necessarily there. Like read between the lines that weren't supposed to be read between. It is almost how I was kind of thinking about it. Is because Kojima's there. It's like, well, there has to be a lot of meaning to this game. We have to figure it out.
What about the kind of the theory that it's now that he's been split from Konami, his kind of crazier, more indulgent impulses have been coming out in this game.
Yeah, because people have talked about his prior games where there's always been someone at Konami to go, no, bad, and
to keep him in check, right?
I've said it before. I've said the Vince McMahon and Vince Russo analogy.
I just, he was fine with Metal Gear Solid. Now it's like,
Metal Gear Solid had some batshit crazy stuff in it. But here's the thing, and I said this in my video. No, I'm not reading off a script. You think I actually script stuff? Come on.
This whole podcast is script. I got my notes right here.
I mean, Metal Gear Solid, whether or not you understood the story or liked the story, it didn't really matter because you still had that great gameplay to go back to in Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, the gameplay was good. Yeah,
the gameplay was awesome. With this game, you don't seem to have that great gameplay to go back to.
The thing is, I remember Metal Gear Solid 2. We what we were all talking about was like the AI that would be able to group up and try to figure out where you are in the room, and they'd follow footsteps, and you'd be able to like do all kinds of stuff, knock on the wall and everything. And here we're talking about more or less the narrative that they can't seem to describe to us without ruining it. And the one thing they can describe to us is that if you walk too fast in one direction, you might tip over, or if you trip over a rock, you'll fall over and spill your cargo everywhere.
Sounds awesome.
Well, I think the best like artistical analogy that came out of this, which I love, and this was said last night on another podcast, was the fact that the game is about bridging humanity back together, right? Bringing what once is divided back together again. But because of that, everyone has been talking about this game for 3 years now, and we have all divided. There's people on every spectrum about Death Stranding. So, like, I think that's kind of a beautiful analogy about the game. The game's out bringing humanity together, while humanity on the other side looking in is splitting apart, being like, it's great, it's terrible, it's a walking simulator, it's artistical art house gaming. Like, I think that's a cool way to look at it.
Let me ask you this, Jordan. Did Kojima create this game for the Game Awards award, or did he create this game for an Oscar?
I think he created this game just because he could. I think that the fact that this game exists was just him throwing whatever he wanted in his head. This is him just trying to create art, right? Rather than a generic, I don't mean generic in the mean way, like a video game sense. He went into the mind of this, yes, with a more cinematic sense. And I do think Kojima wants to get into Hollywood. That's why half of Hollywood is in this video game, even directors and actors.
He might have saved money just doing a movie.
And the thing is, I'm pretty sure from what I heard, there is a mode in this game, right? That it makes it easier or bypasses a lot of the tedious stuff to just get to the cutscenes. And that's what I'm buying it for. I really don't care about the gameplay in this game. Everything I've seen is nothing I want to play, nothing I want to touch. I don't want to spend 40 hours tripping over.
So would you rather just wait for the supercut to come out on YouTube, where the person just cuts all the cutscenes together?
But it sounds like that mode is the supercut.
I'd rather still support the art, because there may be a time I may want to experience it in the way he made it. Maybe there is something about this journey that is reflective and relaxing, but maybe it's just terrible and boring, and I don't know that.
Here's one thing. I think, Jordan, you are correct, and that's your opinion, so you're entitled to it. But if anyone else was making this quote unquote game, if it wasn't Kojima, would you feel the same way? And would people still give this game a pass?
There's a difference between what I feel the same way and would people give it a pass. Would people give it a pass? Probably not. Should people give this game a pass? No, but of course, because of Kojima's name, a lot of people are. I don't care that Kojima's attached to this. I think sci-fi wise, because I love sci-fi, and the story looks confusing and weird and interesting, and I'm into that. I want to see what's going to happen. Everyone's like, the story is incredible. There's something to get to by the end of it, and plus it ends with a 2-hour movie, which I'm interested in, and I could wait for the supercut, but I want to experience it on my TV as I'm quote unquote playing whatever they have to offer. And if it wasn't Kojima, you could give me any other person, no big name doesn't matter. If there is something interesting, I think gaming is different than just a tradition. It doesn't have to be play this, you're controlling and it does all this and it's fun. I think gaming can also be like this art house piece. There's movies out there, right? You have Avengers, right? Oh, popcorn, wow, fun, that was a good time. Then you have your art house films, slow, methodical, dialogue heavy. There's a big difference. It's not for everyone. I get it. I wouldn't consider this a game. Like item management's not fun. No one likes doing that. And if you do, I have some questions. Can you come clean up my house if you're that organized of a person? Like, geez.
But don't we already have games that rely heavily on story, like games like Life is Strange? And
don't we already have games that are first-person shooters?
I'm not saying that it has to be a first-person shooter, but I feel like it's not like it's really tapping into a subsect of a genre that doesn't, we're making this new genre.
The genre might exist, but I don't know if it goes as deep as this. Like, this is getting into the microcosm of it.
I don't think that this is anything to how do I put this? I don't think this is anything to section off like this is its own brand new thing. This is its own like first of a kind. Kojima made this weird thing. We've had walking simulators. We've had weird different games out there. Heck, you just played a Naked Fireman Japanese game, right? Did
Yes,
you
I
not?
did.
And was
did.
that a weird experience for you?
Say the least.
All right, so this could be a weird experience of a game. It could be part game, it's movie, or I don't know what it is, right? And that's what I'm interested in. The thing we can at least take away from this game the last 3 years of talking about it is the fact that we're still talking about it. It's the most talked about game because most people don't know what it really is. Yes, you go from here to here, you walk, deliver things, and you manage what's in your inventory. But what else is there? There's a story. That's why I'm interested in the game, and I know that's not for everyone. I disagree with me. That's fine.
Are you disappointed that there doesn't appear to be any serious gameplay twist?
I am disappointed in that fact because coming from Kojima and how we've talked about it the past few weeks, I was like, okay, there has to be something hiding here, right? Because Kojima does that. It can't just be this walking simulator. Now that we know from everyone's reviews, that it's a not fun and tedious walking review. Like that's not fun. I don't.
My favorite term in one of the reviews was that they have weaponized the walking simulator term.
I feel like
but it is that. What else can you classify it as if you're just delivering pizzas and walking a baby across America?
But I feel like, Jordan, what you said, we've been talking about this game for 3 years, but why have we been talking about this game for 3 years? A, because it's Kojima, and two, because it's been shoved down our throats at every
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree. I 100% agree. The only reason we are talking about it is those reasons. I do agree. If this was anyone else making this game, no one would be Blink and I are talking about it. It would just come and go as if it never existed, right? But to me, it doesn't matter that the fact Kojima's name's on it for me personally, right?
Okay, that's fair.
That's what I want to say. Kojima doesn't add points or take away points from me on this. I'm just interested in the fact of what we know. And if it wasn't for Kojima and if it wasn't for being shoved down our throats and I'd never heard about it, then obviously I probably wouldn't be as invested in knowing about it. But it's shoved in our face. You're right, and that's why we are talking and why I'm interested. But it's not Kojima's name.
Well, I'm trying to say. Let's get the viewpoint from Scott on this one for Death Stranding, because then I have a question for everyone, and it's gonna be interesting what everyone thinks about it. Scott, you've seen some of Death Stranding, right? You've seen Okay, everything you probably just heard with Sean, myself, and Jordan, and everyone just talking about it. Must buy.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I was interested to see how reviews turned out. I honestly, when we first saw the gameplay, I was just like, that doesn't look entertaining at all. And then even the story, it was more confusing than it was intriguing to me. So really, I'm interested to see what happens when it comes up, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah, because I noticed you did a video on Heavy Rain, right?
Yes, that game's great.
But the thing that with Heavy Rain, right, or any of those games is you know what it is going into it. You know it's going to be more of an interactive experience than anything else. More like a cinematic experience. But Death Stranding, we didn't really know what it was at first, and that's what it sounds like it's more or less going to be, and that seems disappointing to a lot of people.
Even an interactive experience sounds more interesting than walking through a barren world where you might trip over a rock. You know what I'm saying?
You're saying Death Stranding is more like Heavy Rain than anything.
Well, like Detroit.
When
Detroit came out, no one really had any idea what the game was about. It was about androids and stuff, but no one really knew what the story was, and that is a far entertaining story than Death Stranding is, in my opinion.
Well, I think what he could have done.
We don't know Death Stranding's story.
He could have made a game like Detroit. Maybe that should have been the pull for this, because I don't understand. I know the whole humanity putting things together, but it seems like they weren't able to make that compelling enough within the open world. There's some shooting, there's some other things, but maybe it should have been like a Detroit Become Human or something like that with all those Hollywood actors and everything. I think it could have. I don't know if people would have been as upset if it was more like that game more so than anything else. And then maybe they sprinkled in some shooting elements in there. Yeah, it'd be shorter. Maybe they were trying to get like, hey, you know, this is worth our 60, you know, because those games drop in price really quickly. Like Heavy Rain and Detroit, like they drop almost instantly, you know, in price. So maybe they want to make sure that it's like you get your $60 worth, but at the same time, I don't know if people would be as upset because the open world mechanics and everything seem pretty bad, and it seems like you do a lot of that, whereas like the narrative and everything is good. So if they maybe just remove that and kind of just stick with the shooting and then just like more of the story stuff, I think they could have had something.
But it sounds like they put a mode in the game that is that.
Yeah, there's like a whole movie mode basically.
I mean, like, what's the whole point of having the other one?
I don't know. He literally made a mode that he said he wanted to make so that if you don't play games, you can still experience the story basically.
See, like that's
Then just make a movie.
yeah, that's
He technically did then.
I have a problem. Like, then what's all they spend all the time and effort?
I
on this
wonder,
open
does this
world?
game actually have to be 45 hours? That's my other question.
Now that's the thing. I'm sure. Like I feel like the walking part of it is probably 25 to 30 hours.
Oh my gosh, that better not be the case.
No, I
Oh,
think
no.
I think there's long cutscenes throughout it, and then that long 2 hour one
I'm
at
okay
the end.
with the cutscenes because it's like, I mean, that's
Yeah,
right,
we're used to
but
that with Kojima.
I really think the walking and the delivering and all that aspect is like 25, 30 hours of the game, and the
And
rest of it
isn't
is all cutscenes.
Isn't there like 60 missions or 80 missions in the game? And then there's all the side missions as well. I mean, that's 60 walking missions that you're doing. I mean, think about the amount of time it's going
Listen,
to
if
take
anyone's
to get through those.
If anyone's playing that game and doing all the side missions, you're a brave man.
Look, man, this might be an investment, okay? Because if I ever need a job at like FedEx or UPS, that's going on the application. I beat Death Stranding, and then I'm
good
a
at
lead
item
driver
management.
immediately.
Hey, man, hey,
I
those
made
FedEx-
sure that pizza never tilted.
Yeah,
those FedEx people, they get paid really well in this area of California that I live in.
you need
It's actually
everything
pretty
you
So
can. to
just
compete.
imagine if you played Death Stranding, how much you'd get paid.
the experience right there. They get paid well here, man. The delivery people, we respect
Oh,
them.
man.
We respect them here.
I'll be honest with you guys. The only reason why I want to pick up this game is because I think the graphics look beautiful.
No,
and
they
I
look amazing,
I
yeah.
want to experience the game for myself. I mean, I can watch someone on Twitch or someone streaming the game, but I just want to experience the game for myself. I don't think I'm going to finish the game. I think it's just one
I
of those
am
games that
very concerned that I'm going to make it about 10 hours and be like,
yeah.
oh,
Just
man.
switch it over to cinematic mode after that.
This might be what I call a podcast game. Okay, a game where I will listen to a podcast and play it, and then when a cutscene comes on, then I pause and start listening to the game again.
I play a lot of
might be
games
it.
like that, to be fair.
This might be it. But all right, so here's the question I have, because this conversation is gonna be had in about 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks. Yeah, about 3 weeks. Is this going to be nominated for Game of the Year at the Game Awards?
Yes.
Yes.
It better
Yes.
not. Oh
No-
my god, it better not be.
Nominated.
There's no way.
Yes.
Of course it
It's going to
will.
be nominated for
Yes.
story.
I'll be surprised if it doesn't win.
Like overall game of the year, or
I-
you talking about
Yes,
just like
overall Game of the Year.
no way.
2019 doesn't have like a definitive like, oh yeah, this is going to be Game of the Year. So I think that's why it has a shot. Like if it released in 2017 or 2018, then it might
Yeah, you get
definitely
that.
wouldn't have won. It might have been nominated in like 2018, but this year I think it's up in the air. I think it could definitely.
That scores a
It
bit.
can't
I mean,
win because
traditionally they
Jeff's
go
in the
off of
game.
well, traditionally they go off of the best reviewed games for the year, right? That's usually what they go off of. This is not one of the best, even within the new games. This is not one of the best
I
reviewed
don't know, man.
games
It's got a
the
lot
year.
of
It's
10
not
out
even-
of 10s.
No, I'm talking about Metacritic wise. They usually pull the top Metacritic games off for Game of the Year, and this is not one of them. There's a multitude of games that are rated higher than this game.
My
It would be very
concern-
weird if this game was nominated.
John just wants
even
Star
got a
Wars
nomination
to
for Game
win.
of the Year.
I have to see what Star Wars gets. Okay, all right, I'll give it that. Hey, if Death Stranding has a chance at Game of the Year, like a lot of things have a chance apparently. So, but
Yoshi's
yeah, I need to,
Crafted World.
I still need.
I'll root for it.
Do you know what's a real shame is Doom Eternal fell to next year. Doom Eternal might have had a real shot this year to win Game of the Year. That's a shame.
I do wish Nate was here because we were talking the other day and he said that the winner is determined by which game has a lasting impression on a panel of
Yes.
voters. And if
Yes.
that is true, which
Oh man, this is gonna be
then
good.
Death Stranding is going to win
Oh,
Game of the
Death-
Year.
Okay, if it goes by that metrics, then yes.
I know there's. I think the fan voting is like 10%, right, or something like that.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
plus-
a percentage.
Well, also PUBG was nominated in
Yes.
2017.
Oh, and
I
then
just remembered
Overwatch-
that.
Overwatch won one year, and I was like, "What? All right."
But Overwatch had like Overwatch 90 on Metacritic.
Yeah, I
So
guess.
like it had a much better review score, and like 20 that was 2016. So what else was out?
Oh
then?
man, I just remembered when they were doing so do you remember how they do the symphony and everything where they're like it was the year with PUBG where Scott was saying, and they're playing all the music and they go like Persona 5 and then like Breath of the Wild, I think, and Mario Odyssey, and there's all this good music, and then it goes to PUBG and it's just the most stock elevator music they must have had just laying around, because it's like, this
Death
thing is still in the
has
beta.
no.
Just play something that works.
Yeah, well, Death Stranding has no music, so they're just gonna go
that's gonna
completely
be great.
silent during this.
It's just gonna be quiet.
No, you know what's gonna
Yeah.
happen during that? It's gonna be like Kojima's gonna be on stage and like a spotlight is just gonna be on him and everything's gonna be dark. And then a spotlight will go to like the edge of the stage and Jeff Keighley will come out in a beautiful white wedding dress with flowers in his hand and just walk very slowly to Kojima. And Kojima's not even gonna know what's going on, but Keighley will just be so happy with it.
And then somebody very quietly in the audience will turn to the person to the right and say, "This is art."
No, look like, what do you interpret this as? I sit there like this, like, I get it.
Oh man. Oh man, I can't wait for the Game Awards
It's the best thing
conversations.
about
It's gonna be
Death
great.
Stranding.
I
It's
do
just the
feel sorry.
conversations about it, man.
I do feel sorry for Jeff Keighley because he's been fielding like Twitter questions about, oh, you know, it's rigged because you're in the game and you have to vote. And he's like, every like tweet, he's like, I don't vote in this. I'm not voting in this, guys. You know, I'm not part of this. And poor
Sure,
guy.
Keely. It's
He's
your
just-
show, though.
It's gonna be great. I cannot wait for that conversation for the Game of the Year. I just hope Star Wars ranks high enough for me to at least make an argument for it. If it's
I
good,
don't
if it's
know.
bad, I'll be like, it's EA, it's bad. Ugh.
It may be bad.
It's gonna be a good game. It's gonna.
Well,
be
I
a good
think Nintendo's gonna
Maybe
have
it won't.
something in there. They could have a Fire Emblem. They could have an Astral Chain. And,
I personally
Something in there.
for me.
Go
something
look
will be in there.
Keeping
Yeah.
on Luigi.
Go look
I'm
at the
just like I
games
said,
that.
we're
Go
talking
ahead.
Keighley Awards. If we're talking Keighley Awards, they literally legit look at Metacritic. Like that's part of the. And Fire Emblem has an 89. Some people are mentioning Resident Evil 2, guys. With Resident Evil 2, a lot of times remakes, even if they're redone, they just don't put them in there. 'cause they're
Yeah.
remakes. So that's just something to keep in mind. You have Sekiro. That's also a game.
That'll
but
go
you
up
got,
there.
You got to think about the difficulty, with that game and how that's going to be. So right now, I do think Sekiro is there with what other people think. I think Fire Emblem has a legit shot because it is one of the highest rated games, new games, one of the highest rated games of this year. It has
I feel-
89. So
Travis Strikes Again, Game of the Year.
Jesus. I feel like games that release earlier in the year often get like overlooked too, like Devil May Cry 5 and Resident Evil 2. Like I feel like they're not going to get as many props as they probably should. At the Game Awards.
DMC might get Action Game of the Year.
But
Over
I
Astral Chain? No, I'm
it'll
just
be
kidding.
between those two.
I agree with
I'd
you.
be fine either way.
I do agree with you. I think timing is very important. It's like the Oscars,
Yeah, I
the
was just
movies,
about to say. Yeah.
If you time the game at the right spot, then it really maximizes your chances of
Well, see, I thought
Oscar
that
bait season right now.
I thought that was going to happen to God of War though, and it ended up winning. So,
Well, I mean, that's kind of different.
I mean, it was up
mentioning-
against Red Dead though.
People are mentioning Smash too. And
Didn't Spider-Man
Smash
win
isn't
last
gonna be
year?
in the Game of the Year.
Dude, they forgot about
God of War.
Xenoblade
Smash
last
Ultimate
year.
came out the day after the Game Awards last year. Like, I don't know.
Fighting Game of the
Like,
Year.
I feel
Yes,
like-
it's gonna win Fighting Game of the Year.
It should win,
But it didn't come out in 2019.
I know. I hate the way that they do it, but when
I
it
don't
comes,
follow
it's gonna
those-
win
I
Fighting
don't
Game of the
follow
Year.
that.
Though that's what it'll Fighting Game of the
Yeah,
Year.
but remember they forgot about Xenoblade last year.
Yeah,
they
they
didn't
also
forget.
forgot about Torna too,
They didn't forget.
which was that current year. They also forgot about that game.
Yeah,
Oh, no, they didn't
about
forget.
everything. I'm. It's kind of a shame that Resident Evil isn't going to have RE2 is going to have anything in there
They should make a
really
best
good remake.
remake category or best.
I mean, at this
re-release or
point, you
best-
might as well.
Yeah,
Spyro
because-
would've won.
but you can put Link's Awakening in there. You can put
Yeah.
Dragon Quest 11S. You can put Resident Evil. You can put all sorts of cool games in there.
Yeah, because they haven't shown the categories
Put
yet. So
Medieval in
that
there?
could be. Yeah. Okay. Sure. No. I mean, if there's 6 spots, it's fine. Sure.
I mean, yeah, you gotta fill it up. Can't really put CTR in there because it's a whole new game instead.
That's your Game of the Year right there.
That's gonna
my
that's
game
gonna-
of the year.
best racing game. Let's go. Was it gonna be racing and sports again this year?
Probably.
Yeah, it's whatever. Fine.
And
Yeah.
WWE it takes it.
All right, so then you start shaming some developers. They got to put like best technical mess or worst technical mess as a category, and they just gotta start.
they're gonna do a gaming Razzies award.
Dude, I mean, somebody's
I'm
got to
down.
get called out. You got to call them out on stage, and they got to walk up and they got to accept that award.
So EA and Activision and now Bethesda just win all the awards in that show.
Dude, I'm telling you, Fallout 76 has to win something.
Yeah, the biggest middle finger in gaming.
Dude, I'm telling you. That's great. It's going to be interesting though, because if Death Stranding is up there and it's not for like narrative or something, and it's for actual game of the year, oh man, that is going to be something.
I'm gonna cast my vote for Racing with Ryan. Honestly,
It has
Solid
that-
game.
See the blood face that they found in the source code of the game? There's like a
What?
there's a hidden blood face. Yeah, hold on, I'll pull it up.
Oh man, I did
need
see
to
that
see this.
the physical copy comes with a car.
Okay, nobody cares.
what?
Like a full-blown
I need to
car,
pre-order
like-
this now.
I saw it at Walmart the other day.
It's already out. It came
It's out,
Yeah,
It's out PS4.
and I'm sitting here playing Super Monkey Ball.
it ain't no Garfield kart though.
Oh, I have that pre-ordered.
Kid, there's some people say poor kid set for life.
Been set for life.
Kid's legit set for life. Maybe his kids.
Yeah.
He's fine. All right, here it is.
What kind of car do I get with it?
I'm sharing it in the.
Evan, do we have any more Discord questions?
We can do a quick one and a minor, I guess, talk one. What program do each of you use to edit videos? I'm guessing Premiere all around or anything?
Power Director boys. Let's go.
No,
Power Director. Power Director boys.
Yes, sir.
Everyone look at Scott. Okay, Scott, what do you use?
Hey, I use Final Cut Pro.
Oh, disgusting!
great.
How dare you?
Nah, I think that's what Jordan
Great.
used,
Yeah,
right,
Jordan.
Everything renders in the background. It's really cozy.
It's a nice, relaxing editing suite. Not scary. Nothing
Yeah.
to jump far from.
Yeah, like I'll go to like, you know, it's just like a nice editing software to use on the beach or something, you know. It's a nice relaxing
I use Premiere. Yes.
Yep, same.
Yeah, me
Premiere.
too.
All right, so we'll go with the 3DS era coming to a close. What games do you think were the 3DS hardware pushers?
Kid Icarus has to be up there.
Super Mario 3D Land, baby.
Shut
Like-
up! Shut
Yes.
up!
Super Mario 3D Land, man. Mario
God.
Kart 7, Super Mario 3D Land, Pokemon.
You have to be
Animal
Pokemon
Crossing.
Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
they
Ultra Sun, Ultra
eventually-
Moon pushed.
They
yeah.
made you like turn the 3D off at one point, right? And there was like, you just can't turn the 3D on. This thing has to last more than 2 hours.
I think you can make a case for Ultra Street Fighter 4 on
Yeah.
the 3DS, even though that was a launch
Definitely.
game.
I don't know who would-
failing when that came out.
Yeah, and I don't know who really would have pushed that. I mean, the sheer mechanics to it made most of the charge characters overpowered since you didn't actually have to use their moves. You just click the button on the bottom goddamn screen and end people with guile.
You could turn it
You
off.
can turn it off, but online it just works. People can just use it.
No. You could choose. You can make. You can look for people that use the same control scheme as you with those controls
Well,
off. That's what we always.
Wait,
do.
are we talking about pushers like the hardware itself, like what beat it up real bad and was like, this is the limits of the 3DS? Or are we talking about what pushed it for sales?
Sales, right? I thought we were.
Oh, I thought we were talking about like.
I thought
graphics
hard-
and
I
shit.
thought we were talking
no,
about
sales.
graphics.
No, hardware pushers. Like, what was the big one? Like, what dropped? Like Bravely Default? You think that sold a bunch or no?
No.
God, no.
That wasn't
that
like
was
what
like
really-
a million over here.
It was over 1 million. But I mean,
It's
it was
gotta
all
be-
the Nintendo first party.
Mario
Pokemon,
Kart
Mario
7.
Yeah,
Kart.
Mario 3D Land originally it saved it.
Thank you.
Like
Thank you.
before-
Can you say that again, Scott? Say it again.
Yeah, Mario 3D Land saved the 3DS.
Stop
inflating OJ's ego.
How many subscribers does
did.
Scott the Walls have? Scott, how many subscribers you got?
It's a little
Like
over.
20.
It's a
You gotta
little
lie.
over.
You're pretty knowledgeable on games, aren't you, Scott? Yeah. Okay. You hear what
Listen,
Scott
all
said,
it-
Jordan?
Well, 3D Land saved the 3DS.
Yeah,
Because the
3DS
3DS was a hot mess for
You've
the
never
first
said
like
that,
5
OJ.
month.
OJ,
think I
you
traded
never
mine
once
in the
told me
first
that
5
that game
months.
saved it. Scott
Jordan,
just
he has
told me
a-
right now.
He has a Wii full of WiiWare, okay?
He does. That's a fact.
Okay.
He does.
I do.
He's made like a few videos on it. In fact,
5.
5. Jeez,
Dude, you gotta put that thing on it. You gotta put that thing on DVD already, man. It's like a collection.
I mean, if you guys want a Wii full of WiiWare, we'll talk after the show. I'll hook you guys up.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
Oh, finally.
Just
MVG
you know, don't want
I
to
could
say
be-
that online. You know, just like
Scott.
in privacy. No, the 3D Land saved the 3DS. Remember
Thank
when
you.
the 3D nobody wanted
That's what I
that?
said.
It was a pile of trash, and then like the 3DS came out, and then and then 3D Land came out, and everybody was like, "Well, now I'll buy."
Was that around the time of the price drop?
Yeah.
Well, the price drop happened in like 3 months after the
September.
3DS launched. Like it was like in the summer of 2011. And then a month after Star Fox 64 3D came out, and everybody was like, well, the 3DS is saved, and it wasn't. And then 2 months later, 3D Land came, and then it was officially saved.
No, it was the 20 free games in the Ambassador program.
No, it was 3D Land and it was Mario Kart 7. Those two games came out in 2011 at the end of the year that really pushed it. 3D Land, Mario Kart 7. Some people were saying X and Y. X and Y came out 2 years later. The 3DS had already turned things around by the end of 2011. It was already turning things around. It had a great holiday with those two games, and then 2012
That's
was
what
just
I
kept
said.
on pushing forward.
Well,
so.
2013 really like sealed the deal to make the 3DS successful, because that was like the biggest 3DS games here. That was like Pokemon
Animal
came
Crossing.
out, Link Between Worlds, Animal Crossing, Fire Emblem, Luigi's Mansion. It was like a new game every day. It was crazy. That
Those are what saved the 3DS.
No, the 3DS
and
was already
3D
saved.
Land.
It was already
Never heard of her.
I don't know, Mario Sports Superstars when that came out, that kind of sealed the deal.
Honestly,
Yeah.
Steel Diver really killed it for it.
Steel Diver.
Oh man, that saved the 3DS. Let me tell you.
Thank you.
No,
When it launched with it, it saved the 3DS.
Let's be real. It was Rusty's Real Deal Baseball.
I like that game.
I like that game.
That's a good one.
I like that game.
This is the most random fucking game in the world, man.
It's good.
That's the most random game. Everyone's like, I love it. Everyone's
It's a
like,
good game. No, it really. Rusty's the
was
base, like
fun.
the home run thing. That was dope.
Yeah.
Dude. I
What
love that
did,
game.
what, did the 3D, what were the 3DS launch titles? I know one of them
Steel
was.
Diver,
Steel Diver,
Pilot Wings.
Nintendogs,
I remember
Pilot
when-
Wings, Street Fighter, Bustamoo,
I remember
Combat
other
and
Nintendogs.
Giants.
Ridge Racer.
Another Nintendogs after that.
Yeah, there's like 5 of them.
I worked
Asphalt 3D.
I worked
Oh,
at a
thank
game
God.
store back then, and
Resident Evil Mercenaries.
so what?
No,
that wasn't a launch title.
that was like
No,
that was
later.
like in summer.
Yeah.
Monkey
I just-
Ball.
Close enough.
I just remember the launch lab. I don't. It must not have been good because the person who
God no.
the person who bought it.
I remember going to a Walmart 30 miles away from my house with my buddy so that we could buy a 3DS at midnight launch, and we were the only two fucking weirdos there, like hanging around in the electronics department. It was like 11:30. I was like, can we please just have the system now? No,
It's
yes, until
Samurai-
midnight.
It's Samurai Warriors Chronicles, obviously.
I just
Yes.
remember the.
That saved the 3DS.
I just remember my friend came in and was like, "Look what I got for like $300 or something." It was the 3DS and it was like Pilot Wings and something else. And he was playing Pilot Wings. He was like, "Look how awesome this looks." And I looked at it, I was like,
Can you just imagine
I was
that
like,
the 3DS launched at the same price the Switch launched at?
It was like a little less. It was like 250 when it
250,
launched.
right? 250.
It was 250 because I remember I got that, I got Street Fighter, and I got Ridge Racer.
But okay, even with that gap though, $50 more.
I mean, if you
It's
technically
like-
do inflation and everything, then basically, yeah.
That's too little
It's
of
close,
inflation.
it's
That's
close.
it's too
Oh,
close. They're
man.
too close to each other. Inflation.
That was
you
close.
start getting
That
into
was the
numbers
only
when
way
it's a
you
little bit
could.
longer.
That is still
I'm
the
saying, I'm
only
trying to
way
get
you
you
can
closer
play
there.
Monkey Ball 3D.
I mean, I could play Monkey Ball 3D.
Only on the 3DS.
I mean, I could play the 3D game not in 3D on a 2DS.
Well, the thing
Not the
about
only
the,
way.
the,
Damn
the
it.
thing about the 3DS though, it was the first glassesless 3D device.
And they
And
got
it didn't work all that.
sued for that
Pretty
tech.
much the only one that was successful, but it was still cool.
Yeah, because Sony had their 3D display, but you had to wear the glass.
Yeah.
That failed
Well, they
big
also
time, their 3D
they were also starting to do like smartphones around that time with like the glasses free 3D.
Oh, I remember
and, like,
that.
those no,
Just wait till Avatar 2. Thanks, James Cameron.
Let's. We have another Discord question, Evan? Or are we?
Yeah, we got 3 more. This one's for Sean. Do you think that the WWE have they made good strides for women in what is it, Saud? Like what?
Oh, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
They had the first ever women's match, which honestly took a lot of balls knowing, their culture and stuff like that. Thankfully, the crowd was very receptive to them. There was, a couple hecklers, but for the most part, they were very receptive to them. So, it was a good thing. It was a good thing that coming out of a sketchy situation to begin with.
Okay, very good. What else we have, Evan? You want to have
Any
another
good
one?
spooky, non-spooky games for someone who doesn't like playing games that try to scare you? Like
Luigi's Mansion.
Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, that's a perfect game.
Yeah, they have the first one that they put on the 3DS, right? They remade that, and then they have the one on the Switch right now. So
Nice.
either one's good.
Is that about it? No one else can think of okay.
I mean, another one that's like a Costume Quest 2.
Yeah,
It's a very good game. If no one else played it, go play it right now.
I mean, I feel like
Cool
Psychonauts
RPG.
as well is a little bit in that vein. The first
They still your brain
Psychonauts.
in that one. That's scary. Costume Quest 2 was good though. If you've never played that one, it sounds like OJ you're familiar with it. It's an RPG that's actually very good. It's on. I know I played it on PC. I have it on Steam, but
It's on
that one was very good.
It's on like 360. It's a Schaefer game, right?
Yeah, that's one that they should look to porting as well. Even though the Switch, that was a good one.
It's a cool little RPG. It's fun.
Ghostbusters Remastered, good one. There you go. So yeah, there are some good ones out there to check out.
Someone-
Oh yeah, Ghostbusters Remastered. That is a good one.
Someone in the chat
it's
said,
so good.
Someone in the chat said Resident Evil 6.
I mean, not wrong. It's not
5.
scary.
Right.
Resident Evil
That
5
one's
is
also
actually a
not
good one.
scary, but that's a
Resident
good
Evil
one.
5. Because it's like they try to kind of scare you at some points, but it just doesn't work because you're
No,
so
it's
kind of like
there's
you got
creepy
machine guns
moments,
and-
but
Yeah,
it's not scary.
Custom Quest is free right now on the Epic Game Store.
What?
That's right, I forgot about that.
Right now?
What's the other Discord question? Evan?
And last one. Everyone keeps talking about Tokyo Mirage Sessions being censored. Why is no one talking about there being no cloud save?
Because we're all talking about being censored, so they got us to look one way.
Because we're all talking about Death Stranding instead.
Yeah. Notice how all the Fallout 76 talk disappeared. Well, at
It's a
first it's still
conspiracy.
happening.
Not many people care about Tokyo Mirage Sessions, so there's not going to be a lot of people talking about the game.
I don't think it's like, I mean, you look at something like Death Stranding, there's just a lot more talk around it because it's just I guess you consider it more mainstream, I guess, at that point. That's pretty much why there's a lot of people looking at it right now. So but I mean, maybe people will talk about it more when we get closer to it.
Probably not.
Yeah. I mean, OJ's being real over there. I'll give
I'm
him
being 100%. Tokyo Mirage Sessions, it's not the game that what they said that it was going to get. There's never going to be a sequel, so it's just the game. If you want to play it, you play it. If you don't, forget about it.
Let's go over some of the
Tell us how
super
you
chats
really feel.
before we'll do so many super chats before we finish up with some of the sales for the Switch and the PlayStation 4.
Ooh.
Yes. Let's see. Where was I? Here we go. Scott, you should give Roblox another chance. That's from Swag.
If it gets a port to the Switch, sure.
Okay, hold on. What? Okay, what is Roblox exactly?
I don't know, and I played it for a video. I still
Oh.
don't know.
It's Roblox.
Did you explain what it was in your video?
No.
I was gonna say I might have.
I just started playing it. As in, I played it for 30 minutes, and I don't know.
It's like a game
That's
like
a long time.
you can kind of. It's like a game that like, you can kind of put anything you want in the game. You can play multiple types of games within the game. There's a super popular YouTuber that's from the same area as me that built this whole channel off Roblox, has millions of subscribers. And yeah, you can play like shooting games within that game with other people. You can play
This is
racing
OJ's
games.
secret second channel.
It's not.
I mean, I know. I mean, I know Roblox is extremely popular. I get that. I'm just, I'm just honestly, I'm not sure what it is.
You can make games. You can play different types of games within them with other people. So it's kind of just like a open sandbox type of deal to where you can go around, chill with your friends, play games with them, do like hide and go seek, play race. You can play a bunch of different.
You know a
types of
lot
games
about
within
this.
that game. Yeah, because I've seen it. I watched my.
You play it. Yeah, it's your second channel. We know.
No, I don't play it, but I've seen the guy.
$100 who can find OJ's secret channel.
I wish it was my secret channel. Dude drives around in a Ferrari, but it's not my secret.
How do we know you don't? We've never seen you leave the house.
I've never seen
I
your
sold
car.
my car.
I've never seen your feet. You don't have legs.
You didn't watch my or my fit trainer
I
video.
did. I don't still see your feet in it.
I'm doing jogging.
Yeah, I only see your knees.
Let me go to Nick Slyko says salute to you all from Los Angeles.
Shout outs.
Shout out to Los Angeles.
Glorious War says Death Stranding is a AAA art house game. Some people are going to love it and hate it. The online system seems the most unique part of the game. I'll admit that is something that people kept pointing out. I think it's something you have to experience a bit to see the effects of it on your world.
People are
But
just gonna troll it.
actually, it sounds like people are being like nice and polite about it. It's very
Just wait till
interesting.
everyone gets it.
Well, I mean, I don't know what you can really do to troll people with because all you're doing is leaving
Hey, climb
stuff
up
behind
here.
you to help. Well, no, I mean, I guess
Up
yeah.
there and you wasted your time.
Oh man.
Yeah, once you apply anything to the mass of humanity, it's gonna suck. So it'll be great.
We'll see. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. Ryan says Death Stranding 2, Sam and BB jet ski to Europe. Joe says, when I saw the trailer, I thought it was wait, we're already demonetized, aren't we?
Yeah.
Probably.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Joe says, when I
5
saw
minutes into the
the
show.
trailer, I thought it was going to have an abortion theme, which would lead to an internet culture war.
That would have been interesting.
There is a scene that they showed in the trailer where the jar gets shot. So I don't know. I don't know what's
Yeah.
going on there.
Yeah, that baby got shot.
Dreamcast guy's mom says, Scott the Waz, do you get a lot of male groupies from being such a handsome / famous YouTuber?
Did it say Dreamcast guy's mom?
Yeah, she's a
Yes.
huge fan.
Most of our
Yeah.
family members donate a lot. It's
Yeah, apparently.
Well, in that
My
case,
Uncle Ted.
then yes.
Nice.
Glorious War says the game wouldn't be made without a Kojima. That I'd agree. I don't think anyone else would come up with Death
Not on that budget or
Yeah,
scale.
not on
or
that
Sony's
budget and not with
backing.
anyone noticing it. Because if someone small made it, it would have been one of those hidden gem videos we see 30 years down the line of like, who made this?
Metal Jesus in a wheelchair.
Same, but different.
Yeah, I mean, I still have to play Death Stranding.
There was
before I can tell you.
gameplay and there was some very little gameplay in No
Very
Man's Sky
little
on launch.
moment, but it's a lot better now, apparently.
Oh yeah, it's a completely different game now. Yeah.
Glorious War says this: the budget is what? It's making people mad. AAA equals expectations. All games should be made. Why limit gaming? I'm glad it was.
Hold
created.
on. We're effing.
I'm still,
No,
nothing's going wrong on my end.
It fixed itself. It buffered for a second, but it fixed itself.
That's YouTube.
fresh.
Yeah, that's YouTube's end. I dropped 0 frames. Nothing's going bad
Yeah,
here.
we didn't drop a dang frame, so don't yell at us. Yell at Evan.
Okay, we're good. Okay. All right, we're good. Okay, we're good. Mushworks says, so if you're thinking if it were more like Police Knots gameplay wise, people wouldn't be mad.
You know, it's kind of interesting, or Snatcher, but
But it isn't.
but those games were built around that style of gameplay, and it worked. You know, it was a point and click, you know, more of a point and click style adventure with some very minimal action segments. I think the main takeaway from Death Stranding is that the gameplay just doesn't seem to fit this deep narrative unless the appeal of the game is supposed to be walking through these barren fields and shit like that.
No, I think it's a very methodical journey. I think what happened is Kojima had a story that he came up with. And then it was, how do I make it make sense to have it still be a video game? And then that was coming up with these walking segments or these long, vast, empty, barren wasteland of America. And through that, he's trying to tell further parts of his story of emptiness and separation and all that stuff. That's what I think he's going for. I think the gameplay was built off of the story rather than creating something based off an idea of how to play a game.
Yeah,
I used like 4
I mean,
big words today.
that was good. I won't argue with that.
I should be a YouTube reviewer.
Valkian says, I feel Death Stranding has a bit in common with Shenmue, but not sure if it'll leave a lasting impact in terms of concepts in the gameplay. Actually, you know what? The one thing people keep saying is that there are things that possibly could be built on going forward from Death Stranding. Not the game itself, but like some gameplay elements. And that's something that I'll have to see for myself. It seemed to be mostly the inventory system and stuff that they do. So we'll see. Although Shenmue was not necessarily liked as much when it first came out.
But
Can I say something? People are calling me Kojima loyalist.
But
you know, I've never played and fully beaten a Metal Gear Solid game.
How do we kick
Don't
Jordan?
come at me. So okay, I'm gonna get hate on both sides. People are saying I'm a Kojima loyalist and I don't play the games. I get kicked off the show.
You've
All
never
right, no,
beat a Metal
I've-
Gear game?
I've never beat one. I've only played like.
Oh, dude, come on.
You got to try
man.
Revengeance. Just get the whole way through that.
Jordan.
No, okay, I like Revengeance. I love Revengeance, dude. I
No,
got the
wait a
lamp
minute.
thing right here.
Jordan,
I love Revengeance.
you have Game Pass, right, Jordan?
I do. Yes, I love Game
'cause
Pass. Have it.
just a couple dollars. You can play right now Metal Gear Solid Collection, HD Collection on Game Pass right now. You can download it.
And just play 3. 3 is one of the greatest masterpieces
Play
of all
two.
time.
Play 2 first. Play 2 first.
Whoa.
Play 2
It
first.
has-
And
it
then
has-
go to
No.
No. The reason I say that is that, Sean, is because 3 has, I think, a bit more in depth than the second one. Like, I think you can.
Oh
play
yeah,
the second
3's
one
way more.
I
in-depth.
kinda-
The camo system and shit.
You can wear
I kind of
crocodile.
like not fully playing a lot of these games that I'm expected to play because it makes everyone freak out. It's kind of entertaining.
Dude, the second one,
Twin Snakes. That needs to be the game that he starts with his Twin Snakes.
I know. It's funny. The only one I've ever beaten is Rising Revengeance.
That's not a metal, I guess, but
it's fantastic. I love it.
But it's not like a Metal Gear Solid.
No, I know, but I wish they all were like that. That's more
Twin
fun.
Snakes is good though, so just
how to upset the audience in a couple sentences.
Dude, come on! Look, it's on Game Pass. Download the second one. At least play it for like an hour or two.
Fine.
Play the tanker.
I'll make a video on it.
Play at least the tanker part. The tanker part's like 2 hours long. You just play a snake, and that's literally like its own little game there.
You can play Snake Eater on 3DS.
Ew.
It's not.
Don't do that.
No. The 3D was bad with the first wave of 3DSs, but with the new 3DS, the 3D was actually a hell of a lot better.
How do the controls feel?
I'll do a video. I'll download it. I'll make a whole video of me playing Metal Gear Solid 2 or 3 or whatever for the first time.
Just stream it. You'll get people to watch.
People actually really like watching Metal Gear Solid.
And especially because it's an older game and they can help you if you get stuck and stuff. Yeah. Do it. Stream it. 36 hours straight.
Do the HD collection on do the HD collection on your do that on your Xbox One X, Jordan.
But just make sure if you do it, make sure you don't show the part where it has the Konami logo come up because they don't like that. They don't.
Why? They copyright that?
No, they'll claim you. They'll claim you.
Like, why?
That scene in Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes where he's going up the elevator and it comes up.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's an instant demonetized right there.
That's annoying because that's the best part of that beginning where it just flashes after he has like that kind of that look at Liquid and they're kind of looking and they sense that each one's there and then he turns and looks at the camera.
That's illegal.
When I did my GCHD adapter review, I had that scene that I did, and Konami claimed it instantly, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
I had that in one of my GameCube pickup video, and I had that exact scene. I was like, "This is gonna be awesome," and then it came up with Konami claimed. I'm like,
"Piss me off."
I was simply just talking about Snake coming to Smash Brothers, or Snake shouldn't be in Smash for Wii U or something like that, and they demonetized. I was simply just talking about it. I just showed a scene from that game, and they were just something like back in the day about it. And they demonetized. I was like, "Okay, I'll never talk about this again." Or claimed or whatever, not demonetized.
I can't wait to get demonetized and claimed.
Let's see. Adam says, jokes aside, props to Jeff for making the Game Awards real. Yeah, there's a lot of work there. He has improved the show quite a bit.
So. Yeah. We all like the show, like watching because there's all sorts of cool announcements. Bayonetta 1, 2, and 3 was announced there. I mean, straight up. If he's got to make a category that's like best game with Death and Stranding in the title, and it's not part of Game of the Year, sure, whatever. I don't care.
I mean, didn't last year's Game Awards didn't that pull in more viewers than like the Oscars or the Emmys or stuff? Like it had a lot of viewers.
There were a lot of people watching. Yeah. It was something else. It was fun. So I honestly, you could see another Smash character even this year. You never know. So.
Yes, please. That'd be great. We got Terry coming, and we got one more for this character pack. Oh, that'd be so dope if they announced like Hayabusa or something, or Master Chief, or I don't know, somebody.
You never know. Crow says Metro Exodus possible for Game of the Year. You know what?
I forgot it existed, but
that's my only problem with Metro Exodus. I mean, they'll probably have a category for shooter. So that Call of Duty will probably win shooter, though. That's the thing.
Really? Okay.
I could see it.
What a good shooter was there?
It probably just because of the popularity, to be honest. That's really why.
The campaign was excellent.
Yeah,
seems like it might be one of them. Like sometimes they put like weird categories, or games like for example like Outer Worlds. Like sometimes they put that in shooter too. Maybe that might win it or something.
I'm trying to figure out
where Monster Hunter win like best RPG.
It did, and it's not an RPG. So
what?
Dude, exactly?
No. There was a site that gave Horizon Zero Dawn best RPG.
I remember that.
Wait, Horizon Zero Dawn?
Yes, you can look it up. I'm trying to remember what website it was.
That is, but it's like an RPG though.
I mean, it's as much an RPG as Devil May Cry is an RPG.
Yeah, I just got called out. I just looked stupid. Shadow next to you said Jordan is like, what other shooter is there? And it's like, what about Borderlands 3? The only game I've put the most hours into this year. Yeah, that's honestly my game of the year.
Is it?
Yeah, honestly. Yeah,
I think you just de-proved yourself in this moment.
Austin,
that's the best shooter. It wins.
Austin John plays. What's up? Austin says I'll use FCPX versus anyone with Premiere. Fight me.
Hey.
Nah, Premiere any day. Any
Final
day.
Cut Pro. Yeah,
Even when
use
it
Premiere a
crashes
lot.
and gives me issues, it's still worth it.
Power Director 19.
Even when they
is
yank
so-
up the prices, still worth
It's
it.
so clean and so easy to use. Power Director is the best one.
Yeah, no. True.
Glorious War says first month sales prediction for Death Stranding. In the first month, and it's out. I guess I'll say 2 million.
Yeah, 2 million.
That's
Yo,
what I'm gonna go
Anthem
with.
came out this year.
I mean that category did need one for biggest dumpster fire. Whatever it'd say.
People are laughing about Horizon Zero Dawn being a role play, but like legit said, Horizon Zero Dawn is an action role playing game developed by Guerrilla Games.
I mean, it's in the title. Yeah, it does say action RPG. So
yeah, I mean, I played the game. I could have swore it's an action RPG, but maybe I'm.
I mean, you upgrade and everything, but again, it's similar to like in Devil May Cry where you upgrade all your stuff as well. So it's similar. But I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. You level up technically in the game. Alcatraz says, do you guys still believe that Alien Isolation will be on the Switch this year? It will be, actually. It'll be out.
They got that out before Halloween.
Soon.
Wait, do you know insider information?
No. If it comes out 2 weeks
December
from now,
2nd.
it wasn't me who said it.
They showed a trailer on Halloween day for the Switch version of the game, and Feral Interactive is the company doing that. So I would actually have high expectations for that game. It's going to have all the DLC, and they did Grid. And Feral seems. I think if Feral does well with this game, they're a company that you need to start looking at with Switch ports, because Grid was freaking fantastic.
They used the GameCube controller in that game so they could use the analog triggers.
Yeah, like they went above and beyond with that game. Like it was definitely not a half-assed racer like some people thought it was going to be. But yeah, I think if they do well with Alien Isolation, they're definitely a company you need to have on your radar.
Okay, so this is a good one. Shadow Nexus says Sean movie has a better story than Death Stranding.
I mean, not wrong. It's clear, concise. You understand what's going on. There's still some mystery open to interpretation.
There you go. Just Hanzo says Metal Gear Solid 3. So you're being told to play that as well, Jordan. But I still think play the second one first. Just play it in its intended order. The first one, you could get Twin Snakes, but that's kind of.
How are you going to say intended order when technically Metal Gear Solid 3 story is before those other games?
Yeah, I know it's a prequel.
Yes, but I would play the second one first so that.
But the second one, you don't even really play as Snake. He just turns into a raiding game.
No, but there's a lot of dialogue and some backstory that ends.
And the Metal Gear Solid 4, I was like, wow, this is really beautiful on my PS3, and I never finished it.
That game's dope. I love Metal Gear.
And I never put in. I have Metal Gear Solid 5.
Good.
Never touched it.
That intro,
5.
I like 4. 4 was good.
5's not good, but I mean,
4
whatever.
was good.
that Metal Gear Solid 4 intro, I can sit there and watch that all day. I love that.
The intro was cool. I really want to one day watch that 2-hour movie at the end, but
Ryan says, did the Genesis Mini sell well? Is it over 4 minis or 4 million? Maybe 4 million.
I think he's saying, is like our mini.
is it over for?
Yeah.
Oh, it was over for minis. You know what? We didn't really get any sales. Actually, that's a good question.
Yeah, we didn't get any sales figures.
Well, they're not going on sale. They're not like slashing the prices of them like the PlayStation Classic.
Yeah.
So I assume they're doing okay.
Yeah, you're not even, because initially it started out with just like 1 or 2 retailers that had overstock of the PlayStation Classic, and then everyone was liquidating
That
them.
is a good point, actually. Yeah, because if we compare it to how the PlayStation Classic did, you're saying didn't get marked down. PlayStation Classic was like on fire sale so fast. They were just
I got mine for $20 at Best Buy. I'm pretty happy with that purchase.
I bought that thing for $100.
Me too. At full price.
I know.
$100 on launch day.
Maybe it's worth to get it for $20 now and just leave it sealed.
I bought the Genesis Mini. I honestly have not played it yet. I don't know. I just feel like I buy those mini consoles as more just like novelty items.
Wily Wars is good on there though. Like they actually did a good job.
Yeah, but I heard that like RetroBit or something was gonna do like a reprint of that for the Genesis.
Oh.
Or like they were gonna do like a new version of like. Is RetroBit the company that does like the Street Fighter 2 cartridge?
That's
I Am 8-Bit. RetroBit will do physical stuff of like Metal Storm or games that haven't released. But I Am 8-Bit is the one that did like Street Fighter, Mega Man, and they're doing Aladdin.
Yeah, so I think it might have been RetroBit, but there was like news that they were gonna do a reproduction cart for Wily Wars that was officially licensed by Capcom.
Yes, I think you're 100% correct on that. I believe that was announced too. Let me see.
Yeah. Well then, all right.
RetroBit Wily
Yeah.
Wars.
I'm super down for that. I'm definitely gonna pick that.
Yep, that was back in August. They announced that they're doing official thing, and that more info would come. And Spawn. Here's a comment from Spawn Wave. I'll take it on August 22nd. Piece of shit.
Never trusted that guy.
This is from Grubby. Says shout out to OJ Crazy stream on Thursday. It was hilarious.
Yeah, it was fun. A lot of fun.
K19 says Sam's Club has the AtGames arcade cabinet with Fix It Felix Jr., Tetris, and a bunch of games. The cabinet looks nice for modding.
I don't trust that thing. I'm just like that. There's something wrong with it. I know.
AtGames.
Don't buy that. Do not buy that cabinet.
I mean, it's like it's supposed to be like a full size cabinet compared to like Arcade 1-Up, right?
Wait,
how much is it?
it's like $500, but now you can add your own MAME games onto it natively very easily.
Well,
as a MAME machine, I'm kind of interested in it because it's already pre-built. And
is it bad though? Is the game?
It just seemed too good to be true because like they have like all these games from all these different licenses and they have all these controls. Like there's a trackball on it and all of this.
The games, most of the games that are on there are like console versions and shit. If you buy the AtGames system with the intention of playing what is on it and what is going to be put onto it from AtGames themselves, I wouldn't do it. But if you plan on adding your own shit, I think that's where it gets interesting.
This sounds like a video for me.
No,
I have a question.
And the other thing is, real quick,
they're kind of a scummy company.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, it's got a 16:9 ratio screen. I mean, with arcade games, it's got to be 4:3 or nothing. I mean.
Well, no,
do you guys
props them to 4:3?
I mean, it will, yeah. I mean,
but you got the black stuff.
The borders, you know.
Yeah.
Do you guys? That reminds me of like. Did you know like that Hyperkin made that like portable Super Nintendo, the Super Boy?
Yes.
And then they revised it later on with a wide screen. It stretched all the games, and I was interested in it up until then. It was stupid.
What's your take on that Analogue Pocket, real quick, Scott?
Oh, I think it's pretty neat. It's like I'm pretty excited about I'm more so excited about the fact that like with cartridge adapters you can do like Neo Geo Pocket Color and Game Gear and stuff like that. Just because like it was super annoying to try and get those on a TV beforehand. I don't even know if you could with the Neo Geo Pocket, but yeah, it's super. I think it's super cool. I think it's worth like $200.
I was gonna say, what was your take on the price? Yeah, $200.
I was fine with it. I mean, like Analog has done like I don't own any Analog products, but I think like that's kind of in line, but also cheaper than a lot of the other stuff they've done. Like I know the NES is stupid expensive. I have the Mega SG and I have the Super NT, and those are I think just under 200, but then their shipping is weird. It's like $20 or $30 for shipping. But, so it's generally in line, but like I think for like a portable system, that's a great price. I'm perfectly fine with that. I think like for the market this is for, that's a perfectly fine price.
We'll see if it has the with the docks prices, because a lot of people got excited when they it's sold separately.
I didn't
they're
know
selling
that.
thing. They're selling that thing separately.
Okay,
but
I hate it. Never mind.
But
take back everything.
You can play Game Gear on the TV without having to do this crazy modification to your Game Gear. It's gonna be really cool. So,
it's pretty much Master System because a lot of Game Gear games came out as Master System games, but it's still it's still pretty cool.
Or Lynx, Atari Lynx. There you go.
Oh yeah, finally
we're in.
Is it the first Metal Gear Solid that has Psycho Mantis that reads your memory card?
Yes.
And what happens?
Twin Snakes does that, by the way.
What happens if like that's the only game you have in your memory card? What does he say?
What? I don't think he says anything. He's like, you haven't been playing or something. It's something like that. He does recognize that. I think there's nothing there.
Interesting.
Yeah, in Twin Snakes, there's actually in I think the office before that, there's a Mario and a Yoshi doll sitting there.
I feel like I know so many little things about
Super Mario Sunshine.
I feel like I know so much about like every little things about every different Metal Gear Solid, but just nothing about
Jordan. You gotta experience the game, man. I'm telling you.
I could just be like, hey, this happened. There's a guy named Psycho Mantis, and he reads your memory card. I know that.
No, Jordan, look at this. Back in the day, this is on the PS1, right? All right, so we get it. Okay, the game comes out.
Right.
Meryl, you have to try to contact Meryl, and they're like, "How do I? Where's the
Pokemon
codec? Where do I get this from? Right? Where's the codec?" And you're running around, and you get called, and the colonel says, "Look on the back of the package," and you're like, "What are they talking about? What are they talking about? Look on the back of the package." And then they call again if you keep messing up. They're like, "No, the game package. Look on the back of the game package." They put the codec on the back of the box.
So if you bought it used without the cover art, you were screwed.
No. I rented it, which means I didn't have the original box.
So how'd you get past that part?
Oh, I went on GameWinners.com.
Game
yeah,
FAQs, any kind of
that's right.
walkthrough.
This was 2000. I had the internet. Okay.
140.15 is her thing.
Hey, I fired that Dreamcast up, and I was looking it up. All right.
I looked on the back of the GameCube
No, I'm
box
just kidding.
too.
I'm gonna become the world's biggest Metal Gear Solid fan. I'm gonna play them all. I'm gonna know everything.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, that was Kojima at his best right there. I said it.
How could you say that when Death Stranding is not fun and tedious and it's a 10?
I'll tell you, Metal Gear Solid 4, the ending was that was also like, you know, when
it's revealed that he's not really who we think he is.
Getting fried alive, man. That was just that to me.
Yeah, there was something in the middle that happens, Jordan, that you have to decide. Like, there's an actual game-changing decision in there. It's interesting for the ending.
Heck yeah, that's my favorite thing.
So I'm telling you, man, you got to play that game. You got to play the first one.
I'll do it. I'll stream it. All right. Jeez.
You can jump into the second one, I think, but it's good. That, dude.
Metal Gear's real.
Metal Gear's tell me a different one to play. I don't know.
It makes you nostalgic because we just don't have that anymore, and I don't know if we're ever get that type.
Dude,
of
I should just go back.
I
should just have a whole live stream series of me playing all the classics I've never finished.
You should, dude. You get so many people watching.
I can't wait to experience Final Fantasy VII for the first time fully.
Jordan, I will let you borrow Twin Snakes so you can play it if you need it.
Oh, thank God. We got it. I'll drive over.
Well, you can also just start with the second one as well and then go back to Twin Snakes.
You should start with the Game Boy Metal Gear game. I think that's the one you should start with.
Okay, don't do that.
What about was it the NES? Was it NES or SNES that had a Metal Gear game?
Don't do that. Don't do that.
NES.
It is integral to the story, but don't do that.
There is the Game Boy Color one.
Yeah,
don't listen to them, Jordan. Don't do that.
What about what's Metal Gear Solid Survive? I hear a lot about.
Oh
no.
There's also some pachinko machines at the casino you can try out too.
Ooh, I could do a speed run of those.
Okay, or was it okay? Let me go back to here because we're into.
No, I'm not young. I'm not young as hell is the thing. It's just I didn't grow up cultured with half these games.
Adam says, with Ori and the Blind Forest and Super Lucky's Tale finding a new home on the Switch, do you think /C Recore getting a second shot as well? I love the game and think it would do good on the Switch.
That would be a weird priority for Microsoft to go like, all right, next we're doing Recore.
So apparently something is happening. Another thing with Microsoft Nintendo, but I don't know what it is.
I think you know what it is.
We joke about Halo, right? But how weird would that be for Halo to be on the Switch?
Is it Fable?
Fable would be cool. I don't think it's Fable. Fable would be cool.
I'm just throwing names out now. I have no idea.
Need a good Fable game. I mean, I don't care what it's on. I just want a good Fable game.
Yeah, Halo would be weird though. If Halo showed up, like, you know, the first one or something on there, that'd be crazy. That'd be something else. With online too, man. Maybe they build, I don't know, the voice chat into the game. That'd be cool. And how about we finish up with the sales? We are into overtime now, Scott. So if we're keeping you from anything, let me know.
No, I'm pretty far along with the videos. I don't really care.
Okay, good. See, we're kind of
it's rendering in the background. It's Final Cut.
Okay.
Oh, it's so good. Oh, this is the best feeling ever.
Okay. I see how it is. So we have the sales for Switch and PlayStation 4. PlayStation 4 touched over 102 million, I believe now, which makes it the second best-selling system. Game console, I should say, home console, only second to the PS2.
The DS is like the second best-selling video game system of all time.
We have to like differentiate here, but the the PS4
gotta draw a line somewhere.
102.8 million, making it the second best-selling system of all time, just behind the PS2.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's crazy, honestly.
Just past the PS1. The PS1 was the PS1 was 100 and
PS1.
PS1 and the Wii
No.
were right next to each other, right?
No.
Yeah, PS1 was either at 100 or 101 million. I think
It was
we
like-
overpassed it.
We
Yeah, it was
slightly
right next to
above the PS1. It's
it's all
PS2,
PlayStations, and then the Wii is in there as
PS2,
well.
PS4, Wii,
Wii, PS1, PS3.
PS3. Yeah.
Let me see this. 'cause
Wow. Okay.
There's a lot of PlayStations in that top list.
I didn't realize the PlayStation 1 was.
I think the PS1 is above the Wii. Because the Wii has 101.63 million and the PS1 has 102 million.
I don't know, man. I know my Wii. I think it's above.
But
I think
either
the
way,
Wii's above.
It's either way. They're like within like a million of each other either way. But I think,
Oh, but it's still above.
yeah,
Makes
actually,
a world
yeah.
of difference. Listen,
Boom.
Yeah, the Wii sold 101.6 million units. The PS1 sold 102.5, and the
Yes.
PS4 hit 102.8.
you want to know why the Wii did better? It's because the PlayStation 1 doesn't have the virtual console or the WiiWare games or any of that good stuff. That's what really sets it apart.
But they both have Klonoa.
Isn't it weird that there was
That's what
that?
counts.
Isn't it weird that there was that internal argument with Nintendo about having Wii Sports included with the Wii?
With Reggie and Iwata.
Yeah, apparently Nintendo America wanted to include it, and they weren't 100%.
Yeah,
sold on that
well,
in
it wasn't
Japan.
included. Yeah, it wasn't included in Japan, so I'm pretty sure that's
Oh.
where it was coming from. Well, they don't include a lot of stuff with Japan, like
It wasn't
they don't
And they
include power
reversed that
adapter.
with the Switch.
Yeah,
They said, you know what? 1-2 Switch, we'll make it its own game.
That shouldn't be. I'm glad it wasn't included in the box. That would have gave the people a wrong impression.
1-2
What,
Switch.
you didn't want to race with your friends?
you
milking
didn't.
cows?
You didn't even want a free thing. You were
No.
just like, no.
just leave it out.
Did you guys go to any of the the release party, or not the preview events that they had for the Switch? Did you guys go to any of those? I went to one in Washington D.C. I remember this. I went there, and the game that they wanted everyone to play was 1-2 Switch.
Yeah, they wanted you to milk stuff.
They put
Yeah,
you in
milk
the
stuff,
one
shoot
that I went to
stuff.
put you in a room, and it was all glass around, and everyone was watching, right? Like
With the right group of people,
So they
with the
could
right
laugh
group of
at you.
people, it's okay for the first time, and then after that, you never have to play it again.
So they do the whole
That
thing
is
where they
the
make you
most
milk
true
they
sentiment
make,
ever.
they make you like milk a cow, right? And
Yeah.
they sit you across. They sit you across from a complete stranger, because it's like they take two people, right, to compete against each other. So they put you in this glass box. There were all these people around you, strangers around you, watching you milk a cow, and they keep telling you, like, keep eye contact with the person across from you, so you're not cheating.
Were the
So
people
you're,
wearing
like, sitting there,
masks
like,
and chanting or something?
dude, so you're sitting there milking, you're in a glass box, people all around you, and you're like milking an imaginary cow with a Joy-Con while
That
staring
sounds
in the
like-
face of another person.
You can't
That sounds like a
speedrun that,
great
right?
dream I had. Oh, it's
It
so
was
much fun.
crazy. It was so weird. But it was an interesting event. I think they had Street Fighter, I think, was out. I'm trying to think what else was out. Disgaea might have been. That was a weird one to have out.
From what I remember from like seeing the previews, they had like Sonic Mania, Breath of the Wild, snipper clips, stuff like that.
Dude, Breath of the Wild, man, that was like a half-hour wait.
Talk
And we
about
had-
a launch title.
and we had half an hour to play games, so I was like, all right, this is gonna happen. But yeah, so then the Switch is doing pretty well. We were I think some of us are a little surprised at how well, because it's touched 41 million now, just over 41 million.
Well, I
Yeah.
think it was mostly surprising about how well the Switch Lite did.
Yeah.
The Switch
The fact
Lite
that
did
it sold
very well.
that crazy well in such a short period of time.
Nate's arrived.
Wow.
Done swimming.
Like, you're not late, Nate. You're not
What
late at
is
all.
this? What is Nate doing here?
Nate, how many laps?
All right.
Good talk.
I'm actually not surprised the Switch did as well as it's doing. I made a couple different videos saying like this is going to be like the best summer they've had in a long time. This was their best summer selling Switch units since in a decade in terms of profits and selling. Just because of all the games they had. They were packed with multiple first-party games. They had Fire Emblem, they had Super Mario Maker 2, they had Astral Chain, they had a bunch of third-party games as well. So I knew it was going to be a really good summer for them, and they're going to move a lot of units. So it makes sense for me.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
think they'll do 50 by the end of the year?
50?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very yeah.
Well, they got Pokemon coming out.
Yeah, I got that-
and
I got
About
that
to
one.
say.
That ship from Japan, so that's coming soon.
Did you get the Pokemon one?
Yeah.
Dude, that comes out. Friday, next Friday. I can't wait.
Luigi's Mansion's gonna do really well for them. It's gonna sell. And
Nate, do you not have your microphone on, Nate?
I do now. I just didn't because I was still getting situated.
Okay.
Right on time, Nate. How you doing?
Hey, things
Nate
happen.
delay.
Things happen. Okay, all right.
Last minute dip in the pool.
I know, it's like 40 degrees outside.
Hey, you like it cold.
Not that cold.
We had talked a bit about Death Stranding. Did you have any words on Death Stranding before we continued with the Switch sales talk?
Note that we're already in overtime. Go.
Well, I figure, I know when overtime begins. It's polarizing. It's what everyone expected. I think the only weird thing is how fans are trying to justify the score of like, oh, it's an 84, this game sucks. And then you have Sony fans saying, oh, it's an 84, this game is great. While those same fans are saying Gears of War 5 sucked because it was in the mid 80s. So we don't need corporate warriors. You don't need to fight over your game's review scores. If you want the game, buy the game, enjoy it. If you don't want the game, don't buy the game. And, leave your peace.
What do you think about the review that gave it a 95 but said it wasn't fun?
That was PlayStation Lifestyle. And when you read the review, it really feels like they were trying to justify their score of a 95. Like, oh, it's not fun, but, this was kind of cool. And, I mean, that's that reviewer's prerogative. If they can put their head down on their pillow at night and sleep well saying, I guided my readers correctly, then hey, good on them. But I'd say it's more of a case of do games have to be fun to be good? And no, they don't have to be fun as long as they're engaging.
What?
Are you gonna
What? Games don't have to be fun. Are you serious?
Games don't have to be fun.
Well, let me ask you this.
Why don't games have to be fun, sir?
Would you say every game you played is fun?
If a game isn't fun, then I'm gonna say, yo, this game's not fun. Games have to be fun for me to give it a good score. Now, if a game isn't fun and it gets a bad score, then it gets a bad score.
All right. Well, I need to look up the title of the game, and I will counter that. So once I need to think of the title, I can't think of it. But at the Game Awards a couple of years ago, we saw a game from an indie developer that was about cancer. It's not a fun game. It's an engaging game because the story is so powerful, and it's a great game for that reason. It's not entertaining.
Yeah, you can't compete.
You're not sitting down.
Compete now, Jay.
I can't wait to play this game.
I didn't play the cancer game. I don't know I need to see if it's good or not.
It's called That Dragon Cancer.
What makes it a good game?
Yeah.
It's just
it's engaging. It's engaging. It's
the way it approaches the topic.
No, the thing that makes it a good game is its artistic value. It's a game that you play to gain someone's personal experience out of. It's not a game that you're playing to, wow, the gameplay is insane and I'm having a good time. It's a journey. It's storytelling. It's different. Exactly. I get what Nate's saying, and that's but I also
you can have fun doing that though. That means you can still have an engaging game that's still fun when you play it though. There's still it can be that, right? If a game's engaging in story, it can't be. I mean, it's not going to be fun for you.
And plus it's not and plus that's like a small, it's a smaller game, a smaller developer. This isn't a big AAA.
It's a personal story.
Yeah, like I don't know if that's a good comparison.
That's a sad game too.
Well, that's a good point right there. That donation that just came in. Super
I think the idea behind that though is that they wanted an outlet to express the story and they're not going to go make a movie about it. So
yeah, but that's why I don't think a game necessarily has to be fun to be a good game.
Okay, well,
if it has a good story, if the experience is memorable, that's where it is. That seems where the PlayStation Lifestyle was trying to go with their review. I mean, I haven't played Death Stranding, so I can't agree or disagree with their take on it. And that's something that people who play the game will have to say, like, yeah, I didn't have fun slogging through those first 10 hours, which every review criticized. But that's going to come down to the individual of, hey, it was a drag, but I was captivated by the world setting or the characters, and it kept me moving forward.
I think it can have a good story, but I don't know if that will just by itself make up for bad gameplay.
I don't know. If you're enjoying the story and you're enjoying the game, then that means the game is fun. If you enjoy the story, then it can be fun. You're enjoying it; it's immersive.
I don't know if that definition stands. Like, if you can enjoy a sad story, is a sad story fun?
Well, I mean, we're talking about a game, though.
But a game can have a sad story. Rime was a story about a guy coming to terms with his son's death. Like, that's...
You can't compare... a story is not the only driving force to what makes the game like good or something like that. This isn't like movies where all you have is the story. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think a good story makes for a good game automatically. Just like a good gameplay doesn't necessarily make for a good game. A game can still have its flaws. You shouldn't be able to. A good story like it doesn't make it for a good game. I would rather, and of course it's all just down to personal preference, but me personally, I would rather play a game that's fun, that has a shitty story or has other problems, than a game that has a really good story that has problems. Games like Friday the 13th are more fun to me than Call of Cthulhu because the gameplay is fun.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's going to vary depending on things. If it comes down to what the game is trying to go with. I mean, you can just have great gameplay and a terrible story, and the game will be entertaining. Just like you can watch a terrible movie, but it's fun to watch because the characters or the action happening. But at the same time, I think a game with an amazing story that just hooks you, even if the gameplay itself is subpar, might still keep you enthralled and keep you moving forward because you want to see how it unravels. So it's not the gameplay keeping you in, it's everything else. And that might be what Death Stranding is.
Yeah, and I mean, there are games like that, but I don't necessarily think that will make it a good game.
Yeah, we're also in overtime.
Well, we'll let the when the game comes out, we'll revisit this next week as well. Because I'm sure. Well, actually, Nate, are you getting it on Friday?
I haven't really decided yet. It's kind of a game I think I'd rather wait because I feel like it's going to be on sale by December.
Yeah, Nintendo Fanboy 11 needs to stop telling me to go watch a movie instead of play games. You literally left a comment. Your name's Nintendo Fanboy, and your comment said, "I'm not biased, but Nintendo is king, period." Stop talking.
Oh,
Jesus, man.
Let's see. Sales-wise, I think the most surprising one, like you said, Scott, was the Switch Lite selling nearly 2 million units in 10 days, or shipping 2 million units, but Nintendo still got their money for it. They do not take those back. I tried. And Link's Awakening selling over 3 million copies in 10 days alongside the Switch Lite.
They probably saw your video of you tearing the whole thing apart. That's why they didn't take it back.
No. I mean, like when we used to do retail and we'd order from Nintendo,
Gotcha.
and we'd order it from them, and we'd be like, "Oh, we still have these systems. I guess we can send it back, right?" Like, I think that was when the DSi or DS Lite or something launched. I was like, "Oh, we'll just let them know. We'll send it back." And Nintendo was like, "Who is this? What are you talking about?" And they don't take them back. Okay, they don't do price protection either. If they drop a price on something, you eat the price cut. So whoever had 3DSs when they cut that price lost a ton of money. Retailers, because they do not refund you. Microsoft's very good about it. Microsoft will give you money back constantly. But Link's Awakening over 3 million units sold. So, is that surprising to anyone?
A little bit.
Yes.
I thought it was.
When you look at the original game, like.
I mean, especially like Breath of the Wild, like kind of gave Zelda a lot more fans, and this is a huge departure from like what that game was. So I feel like that's still surprising. What's
interesting here is you posted that you liked the game, and I think you said you beat it and everything on Twitter. Scott, am I thinking right?
Yes.
Okay. Did you play the original one?
I mean, I've dabbled with it, but I never beat the original. Okay, good. So I knew what the deal was, but you know, I still went in there fairly blind.
Oh, okay, so this is still new. Oh, that's cool. Okay, because it was very, very. I mean, it's like almost exact as like the original.
Yeah, that's probably like my biggest problem with it. Honestly, is the fact that I know it's still pretty much a shot for shot remake. You know, so I'm kind of. Is it worth $60? Like, I think I got my money's worth out of it, but to somebody who already played the game, I don't know.
I think you can spend more time playing that, honestly, right now than like a straight playthrough of Luigi's Mansion if that's your first time playing Link's Awakening.
If you get stuck on some of the puzzles.
That's what I mean.
Like Luigi's Mansion gives you more bang for your buck. You got multiplayer modes with that. You got online multiplayer and stuff like that. That feels like a brand new game. And while Link's Awakening, if you never played it before and you didn't know it was a remake, it doesn't feel like the game design hasn't aged that badly at all. Like it's still like the puzzles still make sense and all that stuff, but you can still tell it's a more like old school style game. And Luigi's Mansion feels a lot more like brand new to a lot of people, I'd
Sure.
assume, and it also has a lot more content in terms of multiplayer and replay value.
I think the puzzles are a little bit more clever in Luigi's Mansion as well. So I'll say that, yeah. But what's interesting is over 3 million in 10 days tells me that there is still an audience for a top-down Zelda game. So we need another top-down Zelda game, a brand new one.
Yeah, they should do like a completely new one with a new world instead of reusing the one from like A Link to the Past, because A Link Between Worlds was really good, but it was still like basically A Link to the Past.
When I think back to when I was at E3 this year, Link's Awakening had by far the biggest lines, waiting to play the game. And I guess it doesn't, I guess it's really not that surprising that the game sold as much as it did in that regard, because there were so many people that were pretty psyched about playing that game.
Okay, that's good. I mean, it's good to see. Then we had Fire Emblem, 2.25, I believe, is what we had, 2.29 million.
That's good for that game.
I think it's good for Fire Emblem.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people have over hyperbolized how much of a moneymaker Fire Emblem is. Like, as in, like, they're just like, oh, Fire Emblem, like, at the top of Nintendo's franchises now, and it's just like, yeah, it's doing a lot better than it used to.
It's getting. You have to look at where Fire Emblem was.
I have to pee and smoke. You're enraging OJ. I can sense it.
You have to look where Fire Emblem was.
Yes, I said that. I said it's doing better than it used to.
Yes, but it's doing better, monumentally better. It went from a franchise that was dead to now a multi-million selling software for Nintendo, and they look at it as an actual important IP to their catalog, where they looked at it after Shadow Dragon. They said, hey, if Awakening doesn't sell 250,000 copies worldwide, the series is done. And now
so it was Awakening.
2.5 million copies.
Fire Emblem Three Houses has sold pretty much the best-selling Fire Emblem game of all time in 2 months.
I mean, it wasn't hard to do.
Is it gonna? Do you think it's gonna fall off? Like, do you think it'll touch 5 million?
No. Yeah, of course. No, I think it'll get the 4 million, and I think it's gonna continue selling. They've got some great DLC that's going for it, and it's going to be an evergreen game. People are gonna. I mean, if 1 million people bought Fire Emblem Warriors, that's definitely gonna do 3-4 times whatever Fire Emblem Warriors did.
I'd rather play a Warriors than a Three Houses.
Well, you also rather not have fun in your games either, and you never play Metal.
What are you talking about? It's a Warriors game. You just slash and bash enemies. That sounds fun. Instead of just being like, okay, I'm gonna put my character
here. Rather
here.
Not have fun.
Listen, what sounds more fun? I'm gonna put my character here and watch them attack, or yeah, that's more fun than just being.
It's about the strategy.
I don't want to play chess. I want to go attack the pieces.
Well, you know what?
That's how I play games. I want to attack. Now watch the game.
Okay, well, let's and then Astral Chain. Astral Chain was nowhere to be found on the reports, meaning I guess it wasn't at least a multi-million unit seller.
I don't think that's surprising at all.
I think it probably did okay. It isn't like going to be a bestseller.
I mean, it sold within expectation. It was profitable for Nintendo. Platinum was happy that they had a successful game that was critically acclaimed. It's sold probably enough to make back its budget and be profitable, so it's fine. I mean, if it never ships 1 million copies, it doesn't. To us, it doesn't matter. It matters to investors. We don't need to, as fans, applaud and go crazy about the sales numbers. If Nintendo's happy with it, then it's a success.
Yeah,
Nintendo only lists the top 10 though. Yeah. Like a game can sell 2 million and it not be on the list.
Well, they
mentioned Fire Emblem.
Yeah,
they have to.
They'll also kick off games off their list, right? They didn't mention 1-2 Switch. They didn't mention ARMS. So if it's not in that top 10.
In the quarter, they report which games shipped 1 million copies though.
Yeah, they'll tell you if it shipped 1 million or not in the multi-million unit seller. So I mean, it could be close to 1 million at this point, and they're just like, we can't fit it on the list, so we'll talk about it next time.
But I think another big surprise was Mario Maker 2 probably didn't sell as much as people were expecting it.
I am surprised. I thought that would have done better.
Nintendo really just threw that game out to die pretty much, because they just put it out and there were some problems and they didn't address them until people stopped caring pretty much. And they never continuously updated it, because the original constantly got updated with new costumes and new course parts and stuff like that. And just now we might be getting that, but I think they waited too long.
Link's Awakening almost outsold it in 10 days.
Wow.
Like
I think New Super
How's
Mario
Arms
Brothers
doing?
Deluxe kind of impacted Mario Maker 2 a bit, and Mario Maker 2 isn't that fresh, exciting idea that Mario Maker 1 was on the Wii U. This is kind of, it's still a neat idea, but it just doesn't have that excitement that the original release had.
Yeah, but think about Splatoon 2. Like that's you can use the same argument with
but
that.
that's a
and that,
multiplayer competitive game where Mario Maker is more of a
It has
it's a creationist
multiplayer.
game. It's you to make your own stages.
Yeah.
So, and that's just more of a limited market. And I mean, Nintendo has had absolutely no post-launch support. They've done a terrible job of updates.
They also didn't do well with advertising for that game. I just think they just automatically assumed like, oh, it's Mario Maker. People know it's coming out. Where it's just like that game got announced in like February and they were silent on it until like May. And then it just came out in June. And that was it. And I feel like.
Oh, go ahead, Scott.
No, I had absolutely nothing else to say. Go on.
Oh, my bad.
Nice.
I also think that there's a lot of Mario on the Switch. You have Super Mario Odyssey. You have New Super Mario Bros. You have Super Mario Maker. Super Mario Maker 2, though, still outsold. Obviously, lots of stuff outsells the Wii U, but it still outsold the Wii U game. And it's still going to continue selling. It's nearly 4 million. So I think it's still going to continue. It's going to be evergreen. I remember when Mario Kart 8 Deluxe first came out, that game didn't really sell that great at the beginning, but then it just kept on selling and kept on selling, like steady, and then it just blew up past everything. I do think that Splatoon 2, there's only just one Splatoon. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just Splatoon 2. That's it. There's not like a Splatoon 2 2D game. Splatoon 2 this. Like, Mario has so much. You know, that's the thing with Mario. It has so much other stuff as well. So I think that also factors in terms of like just kind of like Mario overload, you know, as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so Astral Chain, we'll see if anything comes up from that. But I feel like Platinum is okay. I mean, they got to stick around so they can make Scalebound next year. Let's
wait for Bayonetta 3 before.
Nah, man, Scalebound's coming out first, then Bayonetta 3. Bayonetta 3 is going to close out the generation. Let me go back to Streamlabs, then Super Chats, and I guess we'll finish up here. Ibrahim Gunner says, I started Luigi's Mansion today, and OMG so much more than I expected, and my expectation was fairly high. Might be my game of the year when I finish it. Stay awesome as always. Thanks, Ibrahim. And I think that also came out at a good time. I mean, it came out like on Halloween, so it's good.
I think it should have come out like a week before, just so then you have some build up to Halloween. Because now I'm kind of like, I'm gonna be playing Luigi's Mansion, and I'm just gonna, what am I doing?
Yeah,
like, it's November 2nd.
Yeah,
Like,
I guess a week. I think I mentioned that at one point in a video. Yeah, like a week before, even on the 29th at least would have given us like.
I think they were pushing that game out. Like they were up until the last minute with that game. I just because like because like at E3 they weren't even confident with like a month of the release date. They were just like, it's coming out later this year. Like people are like, just say October. Like we know it's coming out in October, but like no, they were pretty much like, when it's done, it's done. And then they were like, all right, October 31st. So like I feel like they were kind of the last minute with that one.
Nate, sorry, I have to read this comment. It says it's Metroid Prime Trilogy at the Game Awards.
Oh dear.
It says
God.
so excited for the Game Awards.
Let's just not have that expectation, and if it happens, we can be excited.
Nate can only lose his mod status so many times. Okay.
I resigned. I resigned. I was not forced out.
You saw him coming down the hall and like, no, I quit.
Yes, it was like Nixon. They're like, yo, we're doing this impeachment hearing. I was like,
oh
nope.
Man, that's
yeah, I'm going out on my own terms.
Oh man, that's funny.
This needs to be on your new Nate the Hate channel, and Nate the Hate Rewind episode, because I want to hear more about this.
Yeah, let's hear that, Nate.
That's pretty much the whole story.
I feel like you could put a little bit of build up, pad it to like 5 minutes, and put it out there, and just explain what happened.
Talking about Metroid Prime trilogy being at the Game Awards for like 3 weeks, and then nothing happening.
And then you losing your imaginary, I don't know, what do they even call it? I mean, it's a mod state, your power. Oh, man.
My power was stripped of me.
Oh, man. Demolition Man says, what do you think of Nintendo sales numbers? We just went over those, so I think that came in before. I think it came in before then, though. So
let's go over them again.
Sacon 10 said, hey, Evan, how's Disco Elysium?
Downloaded it, played it for 30 minutes, liked the art, hated the way they actually interact with each other, and got a refund.
Okay, there we go. Adam says that Dragon Cancer helped the creators grieve. That was when we were talking about the different games with Death Stranding and the, as Nate put it, the game about cancer. That Dragon Cancer. It's on Steam. It's like $10. I just saw it.
I was looking up the name. I knew the core premise. I couldn't think of the name.
Yeah. They won an award. They won an award for it and everything too. I'm trying to think of what the award was.
Were they Indie Game of the Year?
Maybe.
I know they
were an indie game.
I know they won a pretty big award.
It was a year.
The year it came out.
And then Adam says, I wouldn't say Schindler's List is fun. Okay.
Well, no, not all movies are fun, but they're also
Not
2
all
hours
movies.
long. They're also 2 hours long and don't cost you
Schindler's List
fucking
is 3
dollars.
hours.
Well, they're not designed to be interactive either.
Exactly. So
But Schindler's List is a
game.
Bandersnatch is interactive on Netflix.
okay.
Evan Reeves says,
Gotcha.
would it be less polarizing if they didn't call Death Stranding a game?
No, because it is a game. It comes out on a video game system.
But what if it came out? What if it came out on Netflix as one of those interactive things?
Then it wouldn't cost you $60.
Yeah, just
And people are
$15.
still saying the story is like there's certain elements that they're still not finding that is just has any entertainment value. I mean, IGN ran that game through the mud. You had the site that gave it a 3 that said this is just an artistic piece of shit.
Booster. Yeah, Booster Pack says debating on what to buy, Death Stranding or Star Wars Fallen Order. Wait for Star Wars Fallen Order because that comes out a week later, and by then Death Stranding might be on sale. So, no, I was kidding. I would wait for reviews on that.
GameStop is bringing the 48 hour thing for Death Stranding.
That is correct. I meant to say that, Jordan. Thank you. Death Stranding is going to have their guaranteed to love it thing. So if you buy it from GameStop, you play it for 2 days, you do not like it, you can take it back, get store credit back. In which case, you can just put it towards Jedi Fallen Order.
This is going to be probably the most use of that system ever.
Yes, they are about to. Yeah, they're testing things there.
GameStop is like, oh, we have to put it on this game. We're gonna get so many used copies.
Yeah. Eric says, fixed my original Duke controller. Luckily, just the breakaway cable was messed up. You guys are great. Awesome. Mushworks then says, imagine if we got a brand new 2D Metroid on Switch from Mercury Steam based on the tease from Samus Returns.
That's something I'm actually about.
A 2D Metroid would be really cool, wouldn't it? That'd be a neat. That's a neat idea.
I want
2D,
Prime.
I mean, a 2D Metroid has been discussed for Switch since 2017. It's a rumor, but the expectation and probably the reality of one happening, whether 2020, 2021, I mean, obviously it's not going to be the same year as whenever Metroid Prime 4 hits.
yeah.
They're gonna make it,
But
sell it,
one will
use
hit.
that money to fund the rest of 4.
Jeez, Nate. First Scalebound, now 2D Metroid. We're telling everybody everything now, man.
It's been rumored for a long time. It's been publicly rumored.
What's next? Halo on the Switch? Gosh.
God, no.
Bayonetta 3 actually existing?
Diad Megas Dan says RGT is actually smarter when he's not high.
Okay, I haven't smoked weed in like 7 or 8 years.
Months.
Oh, and then Adam says, do you buy the rumor on there being a direct in November?
No.
No.
Yes.
And that's the show, boys and girls.
Now, everyone made videos on the stupidest rumor ever, and I was like, bro.
Hey.
Oh, what the one with
listen, you hit 100,000 views quick as hell, so hey, good on you.
Hey, yeah.
It almost made me do a video, but I'm like, no, I have morals.
People come to our channels and say, "What do you guys think about this direct week?" So,
I started out the video saying I don't think any of this is real, but
I got it.
I don't feel well, so let's have a little fun video.
I'm just joshing you guys. I watched the videos of what you said.
The list did have Grand Theft Auto 6 as a Switch.
Exactly. That's what made it so ridiculous.
There are people that are really gullible though out there. I know we sit there and we
Not
joke
that
around,
gullible.
but there are people. Look, there are plenty of people that
An
are
exclusive.
Look, man.
The game that just sold
Theft
125 million copies across 5 different platforms is coming to the Switch
I'm
exclusive.
just saying
It's gullibility on the state
people
of
thought
wanting
Beyond
it.
Good and Evil 2 is going to be a
thing?
Switch
Oh
exclusive.
man. Okay. We'll
just
finish
a
with that. We go around here. Scott, thanks for joining us tonight. We had an overtime, but I appreciate you sticking with us.
No problem.
Where can they find you? What are your plans? I'm sure you have a video or something coming out tomorrow, like usual. It's Sunday.
Yeah, that's it. Those are all my plans. My social media is just Scott the Waz everywhere, pretty much.
Everyone's links are down in the description as well, so you can go check there.
I heard mine wasn't. Thanks a lot.
Did I leave it out? Maybe it's because you weren't here. Were you not here?
I wasn't here last week, so.
Oh, okay. It's on your hat, man. It's cool.
Yeah, we're good.
I think one week I think I might have left you in there one week when you weren't even here.
See, it all comes out in the wash.
I'll drop it back in. MVG, thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you very much. Yeah, you can find me on social media, Modern Vintage Gamer, YouTube, all that stuff. Monday, I got a cool Game Boy video coming out. Ooh. So if you like my channel, check it out.
That's cool, man. That's cool. And we got Jordan. What about you, man?
Hi, I'm Jordan. You can find me on the socials as well, but I have a new gaming channel, which if I do stream Metal Gear stuff and whatnot, it'll be over on there. It's in the chat. It's called Batteries Low. Thank you for 1,500 on it. I appreciate it, Pete, who went over.
All right, cool.
Congrats. That's all I got to say.
Okay, what about OJ?
Yeah, you can find me right here on YouTube, Player Essence. Also on Twitter, @Player Essence. I got a pretty cool giveaway. We're giving away Luigi's Mansion 3. That's cool. That's ending on Monday. So you guys can head over to the channel, subscribe, and I get entered into that. And yeah, I stream every single day pretty much. I do a lot of streams, do a lot of interactive streams, answering questions, just talking with people, making jokes, just having fun time, talking about video gaming. So yeah, if you like streaming and you like edited videos, Japanese RPGs and stuff like that, check out my channel, and I'll put the link here. So.
What about Sean?
You can find me on RGT85 on Luigi's Mansion 3 video, going more in depth about what I thought about that game. Yeah, I don't really know what the hell else I got going on, but I do have a raid for us. My buddy Russ is streaming right now. He's been streaming for like 6 hours for Extra Life charity. I'm gonna pop over there in a little bit myself. And so go check him out, show him some love. He's actually got a really great channel, but for some reason, YouTube kind of screws him over and he doesn't get crazy good views. So maybe throw him a sub too while you're at it. But yeah, go check
we should do that one. When's the next time they do the event for Extra Life?
I think it's only like once a year.
Next
year, but you can do
it for the event, but you can do your own individual one whenever.
Okay.
It's a running charity.
Cool. Oh, we'll look into that. Okay, cool. And then what about Nate?
You can find my main channel at Direct Feed Games on Twitter, link to the YouTube channel there. And I have a second channel where I do discussion videos, and it is called Nate the Hate, where I have one video up right now talking about Death Stranding reviews and also the Nintendo Q2 financial report and how fans just take this data and review scores and they weaponize them to push an agenda of fanboyism. So if you're curious, you can listen to that video. There's also a Twitter account for that. That is at Nate the Hate, followed by the number 2, because apparently there was another one before that.
Should have grabbed it first, man.
Hey, who knew?
Okay. And then what about Evan?
You can just follow me at Kimmerix Project on Twitter. If I'm doing anything convention-wise or on any of the platforms I work on, you can check that out.
Cool.
Yo, see if you can grab at Hate the Nate, someone put in the chat. That's not bad.
All right, we're out, guys. Thanks everyone for joining us. Scott, MVG, thanks again once for joining us, staying with us, and we'll see you guys next Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time after I've played Death Stranding.
Same here. Well, watched it.